Hello, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am Luke, and our episode is entitled, Let's Get Ready to Brood Off! We are recording on February 23rd of 2019. We're talking about Season 7 of Game of Thrones, Episode number 3, The Queen's Justice. Listen to the Drinks and Knows podcast on Radio Public. It's free, easy to use, and helps listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show on Radio Public's Android or iOS app, everyone benefits. I am, as always, joined by a bunch of lovely guests and hosts, and we're going to start with Abby Gertie of How to Condescension.
Hey.
What you drinking?
Well, surprise, surprise, Duplin, Black River Red. It is not giving me allergic reactions, so it's still on the good list.
Can confirm.
Can confirm the last couple of nights have been gone just fine.
There you go. We are also joined by Ben, aka Sly of House McLean.
Let it go, let's go blues. Hello.
Let's go blues.
Let's go blues.
Ooh.
So what are you drinking over there?
I got my typical Modelo Negra.
There
It's
you go.
good, it's cheap, it's tasty. I like
It's
it.
still from the box that he's had for the last 4
No,
seasons.
oh, no.
It's that refillable box, that what he's still working on. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, not quite. That box has been replaced several times over.
And I'm sorry, I have to say something here. We got Blues tickets. I know that's like chat okay, great. I don't live in St. Louis. We got them for the North Carolina game
Nice.
next Friday night. So
That is exciting.
Which means you won't be recording next Friday night.
no, I will be on crutches, so I will be at home.
Yeah.
I won't be going.
We are also joined in studio with Melissa of House Algorithm from
Hello.
Must Not Be Named and Floats Down Here fame. Welcome back.
Yeah, that's me. Hi. I'm here.
What are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a very good mixture of water with a chaser of Hall's cough drops.
I've heard that
Yeah.
is nice.
I'm on quite a nice cocktail of doctor-approved drugs, so drinking is not the best thing for somebody who has to be at a swim meet at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So
I thought you had your sexy voice on. That was me.
I mean, I do, but
right.
I'm just saying, like, I have
It's
to be.
pillow talk.
I was
with
told to be
Melissa.
a responsible adult,
Oh,
so
fine.
I have water.
Melissa tested, doctor approved.
So tonight I'm not gonna drink. I'm just gonna know.
I hope so. We
That's
need
my- that's
someone
my
around here
plan.
too. And someone else that I know knows a lot about Game of Thrones is our special guest, Alicia Kingston. Welcome.
Hello, and thank you for having me, Drinks and Knows Things.
Absolutely.
Hello, chat room.
What are you? Oh, clearly you're drinking one of probably the drink that you and I are keeping them in
Almost
business.
always have, I think.
I think we're keeping them in business more than
Yeah.
anybody. You and me.
I enjoy this business that we have. Let's keep it going.
I like it. So this show and all of our shows at the podcastthat.com are produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons like Michael Shannon, like Bailey Riddle, like Alex Sellers, and like Jason Turnbull, along with some others. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. So, Ms. Friend of the show, Alicia, what can you tell people about what you've been up to and where people can find you for more?
I kind of am everywhere, it seems. So I keep being told. You will definitely always find me on other people's channels a lot quicker than you will my own. I mean, you can sub me if you want. I appreciate the subs, but I'm only there in sporadic bursts. You'll catch me on panels like these all the time. You'll always see me with the Mad Queens, T Baby Monero in the chat. Shout out. And later tonight, actually, I will be doing a stream with JD and the Dog Show, and we'll be talking about some of our favorite authors and some honorable mentions that we like.
Nice.
So if you like reading and books and whatnots, stop by and say hi to us later on JD's channel.
Awesome. It's a good crew right there. Definitely
Yeah,
check that
that's
out.
an awesome.
So let's go ahead and start jumping into this Game of Thrones episode. Again, it's Season 7, Episode 3. It was 63 minutes long and originally aired on July 30th of 2017. It was directed again by Mark Bylod, and was written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Melissa, what was that episode description?
Daenerys holds court. Cersei returns a gift. Jaime learns from his mistakes.
Okay, all right. We'll see. We shall see. So we have our opening credits. Where Benj, tell us what we saw.
So we got Peter Dinklage getting the lead, named again. Where you have King's Landing, Dragonstone Pike, Winterfell, The Wall, and Old Town.
Okay.
Pretty much same as last time.
Yeah, I think so. AK, what are your overall thoughts on the opening credits and music title screen and all that?
Opening thoughts on the title screen? I don't think I've ever been asked that question. And I feel like I'm having to think about that a little too hard. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's the opening credits. How do you not?
Are you a
like
skipper?
The opening credits. No, honestly, I'm not. Even on the rewatches. No. Let me say, every once in a while, I will, because I want to just like get to specific parts and get through that. But a lot of times, I just enjoy listening. It starts the mood, man. You got to have that in your ear. Ramin's got to get to you a little bit before you jump into an episode. So I enjoyed it. That I know that's a really simple answer, but that's all I can say.
That's good. Yeah, I enjoyed as well. I'm with you that the music I really enjoy, and it does set that tone for, all right, we're getting ready to watch Game of Thrones again, and it feels good every time. Melissa, do you have any thoughts on the opening credits?
I'm more of a music listener to it than paying attention to what's going on. I have to say, it wasn't until your guys' show a year and a half ago, whatever, that I was like, oh, that's what it's for. I mean, I'd watched all the episodes, all of them, and I didn't know, but it's the music. Like, I have to hear it in order to be ready. It puts me in, like, the place of where I'm going. So I will say, I hate that so many shows these days don't have those. So I like that Game of Thrones still uses them.
Yeah, we grew up in the time where it was just very, ideal. Every show had that opening theme song. You had the cheers, you had
That's what I was gonna say.
I was thinking Cheers.
That arena where we have to have a good theme song to go with what we're about to watch.
Seinfeld kind of ruined that, where they kind of, and I'm not, I love Seinfeld, but it was that bass just go, so. But yeah, growing up in the,
benefit from a song. And if you TV producers that are watching, take our advice.
Right. And yeah, the take it from Game of Thrones. Tell us what's going to happen in the episode. Give us clues. We'll watch through it.
Drop Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just want to shout out in the chat real quick. Bubba says hi to all of us and to AK, Ben, Luke, Abby, and that other dame. There is a dame.
That's your new title.
That's all right. Earlier, Phil H said, hey, what was it? Sexy cough drops. So apparently I'm going to go with that tonight.
That's perfect. That would make me laugh.
I'm going to be a good girl tonight. My water, my cough drops.
All right, so let's roll into our first area here, and it's going to be Dragonstone, where we have Jon, Davos, Tyrion, Missandei, Varys, and Melisandre. Benj.
Jon and crew arrive at Dragonstone and are greeted kindly by the Queen's Hand and are stripped of all their weapons. Jon and Tyrion discuss Sansa and dragons as Varys finds Mel hiding from the King in the North.
Okay, I'm going to go straight to our guest first on this one. We had on Thursday nights, we've been getting Abby's initial thoughts so that we can be a little bit more ease of conversation, so she doesn't get skipped over. But so I'm going to start with AK on this one, with the coming ashore of Davos and Jon. What are your overall thoughts here?
I really like Jon and Tyrion's interactions. I mean, from season 1, they just seem to mesh well with how they speak to each other. And this one was interesting because it was a reunion after a long, long road that they both have toiled. And now they're seeing each other again for the first time. Like Jon said, you got a couple more scars since the last time I seen you. Yeah, a lot of things have happened, but they're both still there. And I think that's just very fitting to put that line in there.
Abby, what are your thoughts here?
I love this whole scene coming ashore. It's very they do have to like give over their weapons, which is rightfully so. That's a smart move. That's, I guess, expected. But as we talked the other night, it's hard for me to keep remembering they don't know each other. We know them both so well that I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. And I'm
But
like,
he's
well, not.
cool. Like it's
Yeah, like
fine.
what don't Danny, what the hell, girl? I mean, seriously, like get up on it. And then I'm like, oh wait, and so I do have to remember those things. My favorite part of this scene right here though is when Tyrion talks about Sansa, oh, how's my wife or whatever? Is she missing me terribly? And he gives we didn't consummate, and John's like, I didn't ask. And he's like, well, like I want to throw it out there, bro. Like your sister's good. I was nice to her, whatever. She's smart. Smarter than she lets on. And John's response kills me. She's letting on.
She's starting to let on.
Isn't that a true brother response though?
Yes.
Yes.
But and I think it's also like not like a good thing for her. Oh, I don't really know. Like give her some street cred with John, like Tyrion, who is intelligent and saying, look, she is smart. And I don't know. I like it. And it is a brother thing.
Yeah, and
Jerks.
Tyrion is the one who called out to Sansa back in season 2. He's like, "You might outlast us all," and so he knew it from back then that she
Mhm.
was clever and everything. And this is John's way of accepting, like after last episode, giving her the Wardeness of the North, her command of the North. He's like, "Yeah, she's not hiding it anymore. She's she's coming along better than all of us."
I am
Yeah.
loyal to the King Joffrey. You might survive us after all. Oh,
Melissa, what'd you take away from this opening scene here?
Okay, so when I started the episode, I channeled my inner Abby
There
and
you go.
started taking notes.
Handwritten notes.
This is all just this scene. And then I was like, I can't do this because I had so many thoughts. I'm like, I'm not allowed to have this many thoughts in one scene. I have to cut it down. But I'm going to lie. I'm going to do two. The first one, Abby, you were talking about how they had to hand over their weapons. And,
yes.
and I'm going to tell you all, I tend to cross-reference shows and movies and books a lot. So
That's not allowed.
we're doing it anyway. I don't care.
Unless it's Mulan.
Unless it's Mulan,
No.
and then I'm okay with it.
No, and actually I'm going to have a running theme, and it's going to be this episode is Two Towers
Okay.
in general.
Ah, okay.
But this scene is Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn and Gandalf going to Edoras
Mm-hmm.
and having to turn over all of their weapons
Mm-hmm.
and then being like, this is like the sword of...
Right.
Like, can
This
you be
was-
careful with that? Like,
this was
that
given
was...
to me by
I was waiting for
Galadriel.
John to do that and then waiting for somebody to be like, well, you can't take my staff. Like, man, John and Davos sure gave up their weapons a lot easier than they could have. So
Yeah.
that was like good on their part. And then my second kind of big idea, I really, really, really want like some blooper reel, just some backstory for myself of a good hour of just watching Tyrion and Jon swapping those backstories over like pints of beer. Just
Mhm.
like, oh, I did this. Oh, I did this. Oh, I died here. Oh,
Actually sharing their stories to how
the
they got here.
actual story swap. I want to see that so badly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like because they walk up and the first thing they say is, the bastard of Winterfell, the dwarf of Lannister. It gets exactly to that bastards, cripples, bastards, and broken things, from the get go. And it's a really nice way to patch them back together as they haven't missed a beat at all. And yeah, I like that they're like, I want to know how the bastard, a new recruit became Lord Commander, and then became King in the North. And he's like, well, as long as you tell me your story of how a Lannister became the hand of the queen for Daenerys Targaryen. It's just like so unlikely for both of them, and they're still here. I think that interaction of barstool stories would be awesome.
And even though they're on two different sides, and even though like there's some conflict, like at the end of the day, they're just two bros being bros, doing bro stuff.
Doing bro stuff.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's cross-reference right here. My favorite cartoon, Teen Titans Go. Only bros can bro if you bro. No bros go. Oh man, and the girls go and they have to go be the bro and give the fist of the bro. It's awesome. It's fantastic.
If ever there was a filler episode to be had, that should be the filler episode.
Yes.
Oh
Just
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, I'd watch a 3-hour version of that.
Yep.
Tour, a 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
3-hour
I
barstool.
have another thought on this scene. I like that in here we get like the battle of Blackwater, like a
Mhm,
little
mhm.
tiny reference, and it plays in a little bit later. I like that it kind of gets set in here, and then I don't know. This whole episode, I'm just thinking about who are like allying with your former enemies, like how difficult that
Right.
would have to be. Like you were just in battle against these people or have been for centuries. And we've seen it with, I don't know, all of Game of Thrones, the wildlings and everything. But
Mhm.
it's just really interesting. I like, the
Overcoming
Onion
their
Knight.
differences.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hey.
You were on the other side of Blackwater Bay. Unluckily for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Another
Quick shot.
Go for it, Bench.
I was just going to do a quick shot. You had the picture up just before of Davos. As soon as he gets the chance, he's like, "So, where's your accent from?" Trying to.
That's exactly what I was going to reference too.
Okay, fair. I'll let you go. But,
No,
you know,
it's a nice nod to Davos Seaworth, a seafaring expert who would know where Noth is. Says he hasn't been there, but he knows about it. And I just like that they kind of worked in that. And then, Bench, take it away.
well, it comes across as not quite creepy, but kind of flirty, like that. He's impressed with her. Is the best way I could say it. He can appreciate her look and style and everything, and so it just kind of came maybe slightly creepy from the old guy to her age, but it was cute. It
But
was
if
cute.
it's nice,
It was nice. It was nicely
Like,
done.
blame him.
yeah, no, I think like I don't know, we do get a lot of old guys on the young girls here because the girls are really young. But at this point, Masandi to me is full blown adult, fair game, and a compliment's a compliment sometimes.
And part of me, like, because I kind of had that same thought, Benjamin, I was watching. I'm like, well, do you think he's hitting on her, or is it? And it didn't. Like, I thought that at first, and then I watched it again. I was like, I think he's being like a dad, or like that uncle you haven't seen in a long time. Like, you're very quiet, and these guys are talking, and so we're gonna hang out, and let me ask you a question to make. Like, it's just very. It's not necessary, but like friendly. Like, I'm just gonna make conversation in an all shucks dad kind of way.
And watching it again today, I do agree with you.
Like third wheels. They were both third wheels. No, they're talking and they're best friends and they know each other and you came separately with them and we're just sitting here at the table walking down this road. So we might as well say something.
See, I'd be Masandi and just be like,
yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know Dothraki. I'll talk to the one person I know that can speak common.
Right.
This looks like a long freaking walk. So let's talk a little bit more about the walk up. The dragons flying over, just the overall visuals. I know when we first saw this castle for the first exterior time in episode 1, we saw it. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. Abby, do you have any new thoughts on the visuals here walking around?
Not really new. It's impressive, definitely. And I am impressed with all the castles and they're just right. Like I like that the castles are just obviously I didn't create this and this is what I'm being presented with, but if I had to think of a Targaryen castle, this is what it would represent. Opportune moment to show your strength as your maybe allies or maybe somebody who's going to be a competitor against you is walking up. Here, let me just fly these dragons. We needed to just let the jets out. We needed to have the full guard, just show that little bit of like muscle.
The Air Force fly over just to
yeah,
set the tone.
Just to let you know that we have stealth death bombers coming after you.
Yeah, but I do like the Tyrion line of, I'd say you get used to them, but you never really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming from living next to an airport my entire life. Yeah, I mean, you kind of ignore the airplanes most of the time, but every once in a while you're like, oh shit, yeah, we're right there.
Well, so yeah, I'm not gonna battle you on that. It's loud. Airports are loud. But we have
What'd you
where I
say?
live. I said they're loud.
That was
We
a
got an
death,
air
sorry.
place.
Here.
Yeah,
sorry.
But I'm not gonna battle you on that. But so I have an airport and military base, and right now they're doing like drills and like a night range. So we have mortar fire and
Nice.
helicopter
no, you win on that
flyovers.
one.
Like,
Absolutely.
that-
That's not a competition.
so we just call it, it's okay. Pardon our noise. It's the sound of freedom. So that's whatever. I don't know. Anyways,
Hashtag the sound of freedom.
yeah, exactly. Like it's written right out front, real rude for everybody who wants to complain. Like, oh man, it's hilarious. I love it.
So we also have this conversation on top of the cliff, kind of overseeing this with Varys and Mel. Melissa, do you have any thoughts on these two and what they're chatting about?
I'm glad she's leaving. I'm not a huge Mel fan.
No.
Never really have been. It's got a good, like, short name, but that's all I got. Really, like, I like the interesting thing of, oh, I'll be back because I have to die in this land.
Mm-hmm.
And so will you.
Right, and you do too. Yeah.
Yeah, like, does she know
just like you.
something? Or is she just going to say that? Because we're not really trusting her on all of her inside scoop. It's not been like the most accurate lately. So I don't know. I liked that little dig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation they have that we have no idea. I mean, unless Abby's got it figured out, but we don't know anything about where is she pulling this information from? Abby, what are your thoughts on that line?
So, what line specifically are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Just the I will be back because just like I have to die.
I have to die here.
Country.
Okay, yeah. Like, why? Okay, sure. Mel, like, she's been wrong before. She's even said it. It was actually, I think, here do we see her a little bit more remorseful? Like, she's like, I've made mistakes. Oh boy, there's my guy. But so I don't know. She thinks she knows stuff and she's interpreted things wrong before. So I don't know why she has to die there. And I also don't necessarily know why Varys, and maybe I should, despises her so deeply, other than he doesn't like magic. Like, he doesn't like
because of what he went through as a child.
Okay.
He does not trust the
The
lore.
Okay.
Yeah, the map.
Okay.
That's
the magic, or because specifically the
Yes, it's kind of both. He doesn't like magic for the most part, but it's predominantly for lore.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now. For lore?
R'hllor is the red god.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clearing that up. I will drink more, so now I'll know.
So, yeah, but yeah, he's kind of somewhat softening. Just by him showing up to talk to her, he's softening compared to what we saw him with Kinvara last season, where it was all confrontational and head on. With Mel, he's more okay. Let's actually figure this out, or kind of why are you up here?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I'm not a huge Mel fan, and I don't know where I stand on her, I guess, but I don't really trust her, and to be there, like, she's hiding, and I don't like that. That's so weak to me. Like, stand proud and whatever. I mean, the queen just said, "Here we are pardoning people," or whatever. And if you were, she's not in the north, right?
No, but
So
imagine if Davos. It's not John that she's worried about.
Wouldn't have waited.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I really don't care. He can kill her. I'm good with that. I mean, so I just think it's like
self-preservation. It's not cowardice. It's self-preservation.
Okay.
She still apparently has a job to do. I think she's gonna go back over to Essos and get all the firebenders, and then they're gonna come back over.
Yeah.
But that scene, it's amazing to me how the Red Priestesses get Varys shook. Like, Varys is one of the coolest and most calm and collected people. Even when things go wrong, he's got like a plan B, C, D, E to get things jump started and going where he wants them to go. But with Kinvara and now with Melisandre, they both left him with a look like, okay, what's gonna happen that I can't see? It's interesting.
Yeah, for probably the most composed character that we've got. I mean, across the board, in the top, of guys that just, guys, questionable, I guess, but who
Rude.
just seem to be better, or above all of the issues, or behind all of the issues. Yeah, there's something about these red women that just get to him. I don't know if the same thing would happen with Thoros, but I don't know. Just the connection he has with that religion in general, it's going to be a little off-putting from the get-go. So let's go ahead and...
One thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Earlier, when they were still on the wall walking up, when Tyrion says, it's kind of bad form for Starks to come down south because they don't always make it. And Jon was like, well, yeah, but I'm not a Stark. And Drogon picks that moment to do the flyby.
Right.
I think that's very telling and was an awesome scene. Drogon looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering if Abby had picked up on that. And
I didn't really get the symbolism there. I mean, I know something, Jon Snow, and that your last name should not be Snow. And but I didn't realize that you're right. That's pretty cool.
All right, so let's cruise past our first scene and talk about Jon, Davos, Tyrion, Missandei, Daenerys, and Varys. Benj, what happened?
So John and Danny finally meet, and the encounter doesn't quite end on a happy note. Varys delivers news of Euron's attack and the loss of allies. And can I start with mine? Because I gotta
Sure.
help wrap up
yeah,
from
yeah,
Baby
yeah.
Raymond stuff. So my note here is I didn't like her attitude the first time watching through this. I thought she was petulant. I thought she was meh, and I still don't. I think I have softened a lot for this watch through. We can all agree on that on Danny. I've softened a lot, but this scene here, she's still coming in super cocky, not very. She's coming in with all of her, I'm the ruler, I'm the conqueror, I'm this and I'm that. And instead of greeting John, maybe not as an equal, but she's greeting him as a usurper to her without even giving him really a chance to speak. She's thrown everything at him of you need to bend the knee, you need to do this and this and this. And it's just like, maybe give him a second to talk and hear him out. Now, yeah, it ends later on the episode under better pretenses, and Tyrion kind of explains away you can't work everything on one conversation. But she just comes across as a petulant bully living off her family name, and I just don't.
First
So.
time ever. Let's put it on the record, Benj. I agree.
Thank
I
you.
agree. Like
I
note
do
of
want to listen to
that.
this, but I do have to go help.
no, you're
Bat,
good.
so I will be back in a few minutes.
He's not even here to hear the compliments.
I know. I have never been a fan of my family name, so I am entitled to these things, or my whatever. And John gets right to all my feelings about it. More of, I'm not beholden to my ancestors' vows. You are not responsible for your father's discretion, or right? Is that the right word?
Indiscretion.
Indiscretion. There you go. It was coming. Thank you. And she just came on so strong. And I don't even mind like the titles being read or whatever, but I felt like it was like we almost had a fit. Like we almost had I'm not getting my way. You've brought this man here, Tyrion, and he has refused to bend the knee. Call me queen. This is bullshit. Like you just met. And like let's play. I just think it's sometimes a little better to play your cards closer to your hand, not get so upset. And it came across bad. I also think we saw her meet with other people before, and she was very welcoming, like with Yara. Why is Jon Snow any different than Yara? I don't.
It is a little bit different than that because
He's calling
Yara
himself
didn't actually
king?
have a claim. I mean,
Yara
she
was coming to ally
'Cause
with
she was-
her specifically.
Yara
Right.
bent the knee.
and was bringing literally the one thing Danny needed at the
She
time.
needed-
Hey, we have
yeah.
1,000 ships. Like, I'm just here
And
to help you.
I think a lot of it is because I can't separate the fact that I know John and
Mhm.
I know Danny, and I just want them to be friends.
Can we just be friends already? Come on.
You guys, they're gonna be, and it's fine. But it just came on so strong. I felt like Tyrion. I mean, he knows the Starks. He knows John. I think that maybe he could have coached her a little better.
Okay.
And I
AK,
think she did soften, like compared to what she could have
Oh
pulled it
yeah.
off.
Well, she could have got pissed. She has fucking dragons, and she's the queen, and all the reasons why. But it just, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
AK, where do you fall on the first introduction of Danny and John?
I pretty much agree with Ben and Abby. I mean, John's look of impatience as the whole conversation went on pretty much summed up my feeling. Like, Danny, I get it, bitch. You got dragons, and you're the unburnt and titles for the next 15 damn minutes. I understand, but I don't know you, bitch. I don't know you. You're talking to me about your father's claim, and your dad roasted my grandfather and my uncle.
And then you tried to play well, don't judge me by that card.
Exactly. Bitch, if I'm not supposed to judge you by what your father did, then you ain't gonna tell me I have to bend the knee because my ancestor did. To it ease right now. I like
And
you, but
yeah,
down.
I'm with you, girl. Like I am so with you because I just couldn't take it. And the next time she comes up, like even in the same conversation, they kind of do their little dance, walk around, and she's like, "Look, I have been sold, and I was. If she would have come in like that, like this is what I'm trying to build. This is what I have built, and this is my plan. I think maybe John still doesn't bend the knee, but we start off not on such a tumultuous, like we got to rebuild from the get go.
So I
Right.
feel like
First
Melissa
impressions
might
matter.
have.
Saying
A
you should absolutely have all this stuff, that is a negative. You don't come at people that you're trying to make your allies. And John's right, whether you know it or not, you need him as much as he needs you. So get your shit together.
I think Melissa may have. I don't want to speak for you. Maybe a slightly different take.
Yeah,
It's
imagine
just
that.
a little, I promise. Because I will tell you, when I first watched this a year and a half ago, I was like, damn, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like that, she pissed me off. She pissed me off so badly. It's like, because that's my John, right? Like, that's my John. Okay. Having said that, watching that today, like, if you watch Danny's progression in those first 15, I don't even know how long the scene was.
It's
It
a
felt
pretty
like
long
a year and a
scene.
half, but maybe 15 minutes. She starts off as, okay, I'm going to be, I'm going to receive the audience. And then he says no. And she's like, no. And then she goes on and she's like, you're friends with him, right?
You told me
like,
you like this man.
you picked him. Like, I didn't pick you. He picked you. So I almost feel like her annoyance is a little bit with Tyrion.
Mhm.
The whole like, this is on you. And then when he says the whole thing about where play acting is children, and she's like, I think I just heard
Yeah.
him call me a child. And Tyrion's like, well, technically, I think it was.
He's calling
like,
all of us
Yeah,
children.
and that shows her
Figures.
pettiness.
All of them,
That shows her
including
she's taking everything as he's calling me a child.
But,
No,
okay,
he's
but let me
calling
finish.
all of them.
Oh, but
we're all children, though. We're all children.
like,
but I think if
can
you're the queen,
kind of
I could get pissed
see
off about
her
that.
point of
Yeah.
view in that, like, because she doesn't know she's supposed to love John because everybody loves John because it's John. Like, I get it, but if you watch just her progression of like, okay, now, did you hear what he said? Like, I can see that because at the end of the day, she's like, who the fuck is this damn male who won't acknowledge my authority? But conversely, John's over there going, like, authority is a man-made construct. And it's a moot point because it's going to be nullified by the White Walker army who's going to come and destroy all of you, and all of this won't fucking matter. So you go ahead and you be on your seat, and I totally get that you're on your seat, and like, I respect you on your seat. But they're going to come kick your ass, and my ass, and her ass, and all the asses. So all this doesn't matter.
Take all the asses, put them in one bag,
Stir it up, and shove it in the oven. Like,
for one ass kicking cake.
right. And you're all going to be dead. So, like, I get it. He gets it. He's with her. He understands he's pissing her off. He doesn't want to piss her off. But at the end of the day, it's like, doesn't matter. Because this guy's coming and he don't give a shit about who's sitting where. So, like, it's that both of, I see where she gained from on there, but I love his whole, fuck it, I don't care because this is bigger than you attitude.
Yeah, to me, they're both very right a lot of the time in this conversation. They both make mistakes in this conversation by not knowing the assumptions that are being made on the other side, or really listening to the merits that got both of them to the position to even have this fucking conversation. So they're both kind of coming from just completely different conversations. Danny is confused of the whole reason for this conversation even to happen was for him to literally come here and bend the knee. That was like the only thing that she knew going into this.
Yeah, but what she didn't realize is Tyrion didn't tell him come and bend the knee. That's the other thing. Like in the
which
letter,
is where the annoyance at Tyrion, I think, is a little apropos. Not you, Poe. But I think by the end of it, they start seeing, and if your first introduction to somebody is like this, and it's a high tension situation, overall, I think they got there. I mean, it took some work, but they didn't didn't roast John. They didn't burn him alive, which was definitely possible.
It's always on the table.
It's an option.
Yeah. So
the burn John
it's
option
like
is always an option.
What is it? Ten Kaipen restaurant? Burning is always on the table. No, never mind. It's
yeah,
never
I'm
mind.
with you. It took me a second. I'm there.
Okay, cool.
But I think the real. Oh, go for it.
What if this would be Stannis and Dany? Meaning, Stannis was all about that. They'll bend the knee or they'll burn. You gonna say that to Daenerys with 3 dragons, Stannis?
Yeah.
Just
it would have been a
have
very
another
conversation.
not issue, but like with this conversation, he explains about the Night King, and I'm almost slightly annoyed. No, I'm annoyed. Like Dany kind of like, oh, the dead. That's who. Like, you have dragons. Like
you're banking on a completely fantastical thing.
Right, like
you're just counting this?
I just have a problem with like that being like, well, how could I possibly get her to believe it? Because she has dragons. Like, she should believe
anybody. Like,
yes.
We should be on the same what the fuck wave path of
like
there's some crazy shit out there.
Yeah, this isn't normal. This hasn't happened in a long time or whatever, but hey, you got dragons and I got dead guys. Like, it happens. You don't believe.
In the middle?
Sorry, I didn't fly over the dead guys. Like, I don't know.
It's like when well, this might be skipping ahead a little bit, just a couple minutes. It's like when her and Tyrion are talking, and she asks him about Davos saying something about Jon getting stabbed in the heart. You have dragons, my dude, and this man is telling you about an army of the dead. But Tyrion's reasoning is, well, it's the North. They're dreary. They need some type of fantasy. That's the fantastical part, is him getting stabbed in the heart.
Yeah.
That's the fanciful story when this bitch got dragons.
Right.
By walking through fire.
Right. Yeah, you can walk through fire.
How dare you
and your hair doesn't get burned. Insane.
But you're doubting an army of the dead. Come on, bro.
I know. It just
do better.
It bothers me a little bit. Do better. That's a Luke line right there. Oh yeah.
Just do better. I do think the real champion of this scene is Davos, because he does kind of bring it to exactly what AK was talking about of, like, hey, we're kind of all talking around the real issues here. Like, pardon my flea bottom accent, but like, what the fuck? Like, I love his whole part that he has to play here. He brings the credibility all back to Jon's side, because what you're saying, what you're hearing, I've heard it too, and it's insane. It's nuts. I get it, but he literally wouldn't be here without literally everyone that's chosen him doing that for some reason. And are this many people really going to be fooled, like, by some silly story? Like, no, that would have happened years and years ago. This is clearly something a little different. Abby's got scissors on screen. I don't know if I should worry about her or not, but at the end of this scene, we have Varys come in. Jon and Davos get dismissed, not imprisoned yet. But Varys breaks the news that
that was the other thing. Not yet. Just saying no.
She still has the power.
I know.
She still has his weapons. What's he gonna do about it? I mean,
and his boat.
And his boat. You have my boat. But Varys drops the news about the Greyjoy fleet being quite literally obliterated. Were there any survivors? And then it jumps to Theon, which is a later scene that we'll get to.
We could jump to that one. It's literally a 10-second scene.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get to the pictures on it, but we'll cruise through it later. So we'll check back in soon.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump to the next scene at Dragonstone, where we have Jon and Tyrion.
Yep, the two have a brood off and discuss honesty and fools.
Competitive brooding heading to the 2024 Olympics.
Why would anyone ever want to have a brood off with Jon? I mean, he is
it's been
the most
mentioned like every season.
He always wins in that arena. There's no contest.
Yeah, I literally think, I don't think, maybe it's not been every season, but I can count at least 3 times now that it's been called out. Like, Brienne called it out. He's a bit brooding, talking to Sansa, and I think it was mentioned in season 1 too, and I can't remember who, but just like, it's the ongoing thing. Yeah, you're not going to win.
Is that a book thing, or is that because of how the actor has portrayed this that
Kit Harington
they
has a resting bitch face.
Both.
It's both. It's both.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess brooding is the right. Resting bitch face isn't right either because I have a
See,
strong one.
So I'm gonna go
But,
with my reference thing again, Ab. Like when I first read the books, especially once John got to the wall, he
Yeah.
very much hit me as book 5 Harry Potter, the
Yeah,
angsty
that's-
teen
The
Harry Potter.
angst, yeah.
And I think this is like how you manifest that in visual form.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
I
with
just
that
wasn't
happening as like his formative character developing time, that's a lot of what people harken back to because it's so ingrained. Even if there's really not much evidence later on, like when he's with the wildlings, he's just trying to survive and do his thing, and then he bangs a hot redhead, and like he's not brooding then.
Yeah.
And then
Much like Harry Potter.
and then he gets
You
thrown.
wouldn't have been.
Hey, yeah.
Much like a Harry Potter.
That's absolutely accurate.
Didn't have legitimate parents. Kind of grew up.
I'm gonna take a sip to that one. Well done, Melissa.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
cracked something on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, John is certainly a Harry
Was
Potter
that in
fan.
Gretchen's comparison? Because it should have been. Shoot, Gretchen.
Gretchen!
For more on that, check out the Drowned Word edition 3 at thepodcast.com for a write-up of one of our recent episodes. Actually, it was just a true Harry Potter v. Game of Thrones character comparison. A lot of really, really fun ones in there, so check that out.
So my only note, I had a copy from our first one because I love this line. Is how do I get people who don't know me to trust me? That's a good question. I know it's a good question. I'm looking for an answer. It's like
It's such a Tyrion response too. Like it's
So
like it just is, and I get the frustration dealing with people like that. Like I wouldn't have asked. How do you spell this? Go look it up in the dictionary. If I could find it in a dictionary, I would not
I
need to
wouldn't
ask
have
you.
asked.
Like
Literally,
Just-
that's my whole job.
Help
Like
me,
that's
help
what I get paid to do is have people say, "Well, what about this?" And I'm like, then I have to answer the question with a question. That's my job.
no. Oh my god.
It's really hard to just
I
not
hope I
tell
never
people what to
work-
do all the
I hope I
time.
ne- like knowing where to acquire the knowledge is like 90% of being intelligent. Why the fuck can't you just tell me if you know?
Okay, I'll do that.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, John, I get it. I love that line.
I love the visuals on the cliff scene here. I mean, they've used it a couple times now, and I think it's for a good reason. It just looks awesome. Like if you have a couple days to go shoot up there, get
Yeah,
a few
do it.
one-on-one character conversations taken care of there. Like just do it. It's awesome.
Well, it's exactly
know
what I would
where they're
expect. Yeah, where was that shot?
This
Um,
like in the world.
Northern Island.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I
our
think it's
world.
Northern Island.
Okay, I just think it's such a perfect place for dragons to live.
Missouri.
Missouri.
It's a perfect place for dragons and only dragons. Cause also shout out to JD the Dragon. If y'all go on his channel, you'll see a little video that we did about the beasts that live all around Dragonstone, and it's not pretty. I mean, they have like manticores just rummaging around every damn where, and we saw how dangerous those things were in past episodes. I don't want to live there. All the scorpions and cockatrices and all other types of shit. No thanks.
Yeah.
Dragonstone is a nope for me. I don't know about y'all.
It's
but-
a nope.
Hard nope.
You know, I can't get to Target in 10
Hard
minutes from there.
pass.
I'm out.
You get to Target from there.
No, you gotta take a boat, probably
Oh
like a
my
train at that
God.
point. No,
Yeah.
see,
It's like Staten Island. You got to take a boat to get anywhere.
Oh my
Right, no.
god. The map quest directions indicate you need a kayak. It's too far. It's too far.
oh, that was.
So I
funny.
want to reference something that happened in the chat a minute ago with Tony. He had referenced that John and Harry both had very good reasons, very valid reasons for being moody. And so I countered, well, Barty Crouch Jr. also had very valid reasons for being moody. So we'll leave that in there.
You're
I-
right.
Pat
So-
yourself on the back there, Luke. That
I
was a
felt
good
like I felt good about that one. You only get
So
one
good
here,
he had
right?
to reread it on air.
I'll give you a sip on that. Kudos.
So I have like another thought towards the end of the scene where
Okay.
Tyrion's like really trying to have it be productive and not just the brood
Mhm.
off. He tries to move past. Does anybody else strike me as Tyrion doing the best Jerry Maguire right here and going, "Help me, help you,
Yeah.
Oh,
help
I was
me,
actually just thinking
help
another Harry
you,"
Potter
because
of
Like, to me, he just like, I want to help you. I want to help you, but you got to help me. Like, it just hit me, and it was a very Tom Cruise reference.
I
It's
was
like a
more thinking
linking.
of the Moody to Harry of what do
Yeah.
you need and how do you get it?
Yeah.
Play to your strengths.
I don't have any strengths.
What
You
do you-
fucking have strengths.
what are you
if
good
I
at?
say you have strengths.
I mean,
Help me.
literally, Moody has to tell him the whole damn time, boy, do this, this, and that. I can only take a wand into the. Yeah, you're allowed a wand. Fucking use it.
You also have literally magic.
Man, it feels like my other podcast. Hold on.
This is going to
I'm
veer
sorry.
quickly.
I love it.
Stop.
Oh, yeah. If people are not liking Harry Potter references and they're still watching Drinks and Those Things, I'm very surprised. It's going to happen. Any final thoughts with Jon and Tyrion here? A solid interaction. Again, feels very natural, the conversation that they have. Tyrion does bring it to a productive point. And then it rolls right into the next scene with Tyrion and Dany. And then later on, Dany and Jon as well. Benj.
Yeah, one last thing I'll say is next season, an interaction like this with just Jon and Tyrion is what I'm going to miss the most, because we're not going to have time to put in those nice little tidbits.
Yeah.
It's going to be, that they have to go from jump and boom, 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 boom. We're not going to have time to sit and have these little broad-offs anymore. And it's going to make it a little bit lacking for me.
Yeah, and just as a general comment on season 7, there was a bit of that as well, of like, hey, these characters that we've been waiting for them to meet, they meet, and that's like, okay, we don't have time to really develop the conversations that would actually happen. But we'll touch on that as the next few episodes come along as well. But Benj, tell us this next scene.
Oh, yeah. So the hand presents the queen with an acceptable win to give the king of the north. She agrees and allows Jon to mine the dragon glass. A wise man once said that you should never believe a thing simply because you want to believe it. What wise man said that? I don't remember. Were you quoting yourself? I wouldn't do that to you.
To you?
Oh man, Melissa,
Like, he's so full of shit, but he owns it.
yeah, it is a good quote though. Like it's, I
Great
give him
quote.
props. I don't know, if you have a good saying, stick with it. Like it works. Melissa, thoughts
Isn't
here?
Tyrion like the most quotable character in the
There's
show?
a whole book of
pretty
Tyrion
much?
quotes.
Yeah. So honestly, the only thing that really stood out to me, unless it's still Tyrion going like, I'm helping you. Help me help you, right? Like, this is the theme of Tyrion. But why did Tyrion blow off when she was like, hey, the thing with the knife in the heart that they said, and then there was a look, and then they didn't say? What was that? And he's like, why did he blow it off? What would it be his purpose for like jumping her past that?
Probably not to get hung up on Tyrion doesn't know. I mean, it's kind of like, well, they didn't bring it up, we'll find out in time, or it's just gonna be a distraction of what we're trying to do right now. I don't know. It's kind of like, you and I aren't gonna figure it out.
Let's let it go.
Let's let it go until it arises again.
All right.
That's what I was saying earlier. He just smooth skirts past. Oh, that's just a fanciful Northman thing. They got to tell stories to make their life better. Bitch, this chick has dragons though. How is being stabbed in the heart the fanciful part of this story?
She literally was burned alive to
Walked
bring the
out of
dragons.
flames.
Yeah. But I mean, again, but Jon doesn't know that. I mean, he knows she has dragons, so there's some magic there. But so he doesn't want to present up of, yeah, I got fucking killed by my men. Like that. I think that was the cutoff point where he kind of shot Davos the look of, Davos like he took a stab to the heart for his views, and he's like, shut the fuck up, because I don't want to. It's not that I got killed and I got brought back to life. That freaked him out originally, but I think it's the fact that his own men turned on him.
Right. When his whole platform here is, I'm here on merit. The people chose me. You got to leave out the part, well, the original people that chose you first, that would have had killed you. Like that's
Right,
not good for the PR
I got
right
different
now.
people now.
I'm here asking for help with the dead people. She doesn't need to know that I was dead too. Okay, let's just pass that.
I'm
That's a
not-
different kind of dead.
I'm not the dead people I'm worried about. I'm okay. That's all. That's a tougher conversation to have at the time. I think that's incredibly valid. So, Abby, are you back now? Okay. Do you have any thoughts on Tyrion and Dany here?
No, I'm sure you covered it swimmingly.
We tried.
Good job.
So let's roll into the John and Danny portion of this too. Abby, your thoughts on the way they handle themselves in this true one-on-one.
So I think it's nice. This is, I think, what I was hoping for right off the bat, and you don't necessarily get that just right off the bat meeting somebody. So I'm glad that we're giving it another swing. I think at the end, it's kind of towards the end of the scene. She's like, you can take the dragon glass or whatever. What strikes me is I will provide you with the tools and supplies and manpower and everything you need to do it. I find that to be extremely generous.
That is
Yes.
very, very generous.
Like, that's my biggest takeaway from the scene, because she could have said, sure, go ahead and take it. That's fine with me. And that
You
would
and
have been
Davos.
right. Like, that would have been a kind gesture. Like, look, she said we can take it, so let's do it. But she's going to give them everything they need. That's just incredibly
And
courteous.
and I do enjoy this scene 100 times fold over the first interaction. She came not quite humble, but she came more respectful. Like she waited, like she allowed him to come. It was more respectful reception and interaction. Even though she still made her point known, she's like, I still look at you as you're not I'm still gonna think the Seven Kingdoms are what they should be. And John's like, that's fine. I'm gonna look at them my way. That's where the first conversation personally should have gone. I get why they did it. They want to build the drama, and controversy creates cash, so people get invested in the animosity and all that. So I get it for storytelling purposes. But just on a personal level, this interaction is way better because she's willing to give, but she's also not willing to, bend over.
But so because I love arguing with you, it's just been my lifelong journey.
Sit back.
Yeah, thanks. Just, buckle up, folks. No, I don't think she has to be respectful of him. I don't think she
She
has
doesn't
to
have
be
to be, but
right,
she
but
should be.
no, she shouldn't.
Yes.
Just like John
Just
doesn't.
like
No, she
John
doesn't.
should be respectful to her, as he was respectful to her.
No,
He was respectful to her.
Hang
He
on,
called
hang
her
on,
grace.
hang on.
He
Let her
called her
finish.
queen.
Let her finish. Let her
Okay.
finish.
and that's all fine. But I don't think she just right off the bat has to be respectful, because of the John we know, But my point being is, I also like this one much better. I wish it would have been the first interaction, but I think this is more real Danny than what we were getting the first. Like, we had, she was putting her, all her strength out there. She was putting on the big show. Let him see the dragons. Let him see our power, and let him see, I'm not fucking around. And sometimes that backfires on you, because sometimes other people aren't fucking around. We got a more sincere Danny.
Yes, and
And
I
that's
absolutely agree with you.
yeah.
And that's and she was playing the big dick Danny role that she's played multiple times. That has worked for her every single time until now. It's never really backfired on her. It's always paid off. And so for her to realize, wait, I just pulled my, pulled everything I had out on this guy, and he's
didn't
not
work.
it didn't work.
Right.
So she came at it from real Danny point of view. He earned her respect, and I get that. I just personally, I think everybody should be treated with respect on a first meeting. You don't have to play your big dick card, the very first time until they make you pull it out. They make you pull it out, fine. And so it's just because she does it every single time. It's always bothered me.
I'm in that camp. You don't have to pull it out at first.
Yeah,
but
I disagree.
For all my Dave Chappelle fans out there, this is a classic case of when keeping it real goes wrong. Danny tried to do, extra Danny, and John was like, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Northman. You ain't used to dealing with these type of people. Maybe you should fall back just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I think there are times where that kind of taking the hard line up front can be useful. I say that because this is gonna, here I go, ready. This is how I teach. You start the school year off.
I'll drink.
Yeah. You don't smile the first couple, and that's not entirely true. You don't smile, but
you have to Snape it up a bit.
You McGonagall it up a bit.
Yeah.
You don't go as far as Snape, but
never go full Snape.
That's for February when you can't even take it anymore. But at the beginning of the year, you have to be a hard ass at the beginning so that they get trained. But John is not a child for her to train right now, and she's treating him like one, or she's expecting him to just fall in line like I would expect my 10-year-olds to fall in line, and that's not okay that she's doing that.
And
But
I know she like the claim is hers. She feels like she is queen.
She has
But you,
all legitimacy in her mind. That's
then
the end of it.
that's right. But like you're still like trying to get some allies, and we're still trying to make friends, and like you
doesn't want
are
allies
not
at
a
this point.
solidified power at this point. You're not sitting on the Iron Throne, and this isn't somebody coming in.
but
Like,
she did think she had allies.
She didn't realize she just lost 2 huge portions of her army. Like that's
well,
And her legitimacy is lightweight extra though, because no,
That's-
you are not born to rule or born to get to the throne. No, you can't claim all that. Stop being extra, Danny.
and I think
Yeah,
I'm
extra Danny.
highly annoyed with Tyrion because he knows the Starks. Like he knows how Jon was raised. That should have been mentioned to her. Like, look, the type of people they are, the honor they bear, or what like he doesn't
But
do
before
anything
that-
surprising.
Davos did mention it though. He straight up said, "Nah, he has no claim. He's a bastard." But the people still chose him.
Yes,
That should have been her cue to start treating him with a little more
Different.
respect.
right. Like, and I think that should have meant more to the Danny we know. Like, I don't know. It's just an uncharacteristic for me, but not really, I guess. I don't
Sorry, just saw a great line in the chat that I have to shout out Shannon Thompson. She's sitting on the Super Mario throne, damn it.
Princess Peach.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely no, I love it. Sorry.
Kudos.
all right.
Alright.
So yeah, let's roll into the next scene of Dragon. There's a lot of Dragonstone in this episode.
Yeah.
It really is scene wise probably about almost 50% of the episode, I think. Where we start off, this is our last scene of Dragonstone, where we have Dany, Tyrion, Missandei, Varys, Grey Worm, Unsullied, and Euron. Benj, what happened?
So the crew discusses plans now that Euron properly fucked him over. Tyrion gives us the Ocean 11's narration of the battle plan of Casterly Rock until Euron arrives and wreaks havoc on their ships.
Yeah, a lot of exciting things in this portion of it, right? This is the first voiceover battle scene that we get. And you can even tell like the actual shots of it are done in a cinematic different style. It looks very like off, like it's just slightly off to almost tell you, yeah, this is all storytelling. It's not like actual live footage of what's going on. And like on a rewatch, it's like, oh wow, that's really neat that they chose to do it that way, because you see it and you're like, man, this kind of isn't up to the same standard that they typically do for when they actually do battle scenes. It just didn't quite match up the same detail and level, and it seems like it was an artistic choice to do that. Melissa, what are your thoughts on all of this here?
Well, I told you I had a theme, and it was Two Towers, and
Yeah.
to me, this was Helm's Deep.
Yeah,
Like this was the Battle of Helm's Deep. If it was told like, if they had to combine all 3 books into one movie, this would have been the Helm's Deep, like 30 seconds. The difference between this battle and Helm's Deep is that I was cheering for the orcs. I wanted the orcs to win with
the
Grey Worm.
invaders.
Yes. I mean, all the way down to like sneaking through and blowing up the little, like it
Mhm.
just, it felt the same. I loved the storytelling aspect of it because I couldn't tell if it was real or not, especially rewatching it. It's like, is this what actually happened? Or is this like the plan and then it veers because of the Lannister like twist around?
Mhm.
I really liked it. It was very enjoyable to me.
Yeah, it's neat, and I like the choices that they made to do this. Benj, what do you got here?
Like kind of to your point, Luke, I never actually really caught that it was a cinematic different. I mean, I knew the differences because this is a rewatch, and I knew like that's why I said the Ocean's 11 style narration of
Right.
this is what we're gonna do, and this is this and this and this, but this is what really happened. But I never caught the actual physical cinematic differences until you started saying that. I started thinking about it. But I did like the line of, as a good friend of mine once said, "Give me 10 good men, and I'll impregnate the bitch." It's a nice callback to Bronn, probably one of Bronn's most famous lines, talking about the Eyrie, and yeah, having Tyrion on your side to know the ins and outs because it was beneath Tywin, quite literally, to work on the sewers and having that plan. It was a proper way to fuck over his family and his
I think it's a
ancestral
great
home.
fu to Tywin
Yeah.
from Tyrion. Like, look, motherfucker. Like, once I killed you on a toilet. One. Number two, because you gave me this shitty ass job, I'm gonna use it to my advantage and I'm gonna fuck you up. So, and I love Tywin. I just always have to throw that in there. But I thought it was like a good I don't know, a win for Tyrion, kind of.
Yeah.
In
And
theory. In voiceover, it was a win.
yeah, and then on top of it, at the very end, we get another great shot of of silence, and this is one of the best shots we've seen of it altogether. Like as a straight up overhead, and you get to kind of get the real sense of uh, the real size of that ship
Mm-hmm.
compared because the rest of the time you see it, it's been dark almost every time we see a silence, and we did see it at King's Landing for a brief second, but this one is a good inclination of why that ship is such a badass.
Mm-hmm. AK, what are your thoughts on on this whole battle scene?
Tyrion made an oops. Like, he was the key planner for this whole thing with Castle Rock, and you didn't see past what could have been done. You thought your plan was great. I think this is just one of those small moments. I guess it's not really small, but one of those moments where Tyrion is a little bit Cersei-ish in his thinking.
He underestimates.
Yeah, you see the plan and how grand it's going to make you look, that you're not actually paying attention to what the moves the other players could make. So he messed up.
I know a conversation that Abby and I had Thursday night was, Tyrion almost forgets that he's going up against Jaime, right? And a very consistent theme that we've had on this podcast is the three Lannisters are three different facets of what made Tywin so effective. They take different parts of it. Tyrion is in Jaime's piece of the pie, we'll say, and is using his strengths, which is his true cleverness, and he's making a plan it's smart. It's very clever. It's a little too clever. I mean, it's almost exactly what Tyrion would do. And guess who would know what exactly Tyrion would do? His literal fucking brother, Jaime, who this is his realm. Like, it's not surprising that it goes this way. It's surprising when you're watching it not realizing it, but, in retrospect, you're like, okay, there was a reason they were like, clever plan from a clever man. Like, it's a little too cutesy.
How could you not know your brother? And we don't even have to think about Cersei, but how could you not know your brother would see exactly what you were going to do and he would counter that? He should have sent everybody to hide.
And also Tyrion played it up of thinking like Tywin, where Castle Rock is the main focus of the Lannister family. That's going to be their main concern.
Just let it go.
Jaime and Cersei don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, and they have King's Landing. Why would they really care about Castle Rock? Come on, Tyrion, where's your head? What? You're smarter than this.
Well, originally they were going to do both. They were going to hit King's Landing and Castle Rock at the same time. So they were going to split the forces. Whoopsie. And but they got kind of doubly fucked by Euron.
Just
I'm going to go ahead and gloss over how quickly Euron made it all the way down around the entire country to the exact opposite. I'd show you on the map, but it's behind Melissa. It's a long trip, and if you've ever played Mount and Blade Warband, it takes a fucking while.
I'm just asking, is there a cut through river at all? Like,
no, there's not a transcontinental connection.
Maybe they made like the Panama Canal. Maybe they were working on that.
They dismantled the ship what they did? Crossed, and then
you know what they did? They sent the Raven to Littlefinger. You know how traveling has been going in these past seasons. Yeah. Littlefinger's traveling services, getting you where you need to be.
When you need to be there.
Logic or any prerequisite time that we know it takes to travel places. Littlefinger will zap and boom, you're there.
Right. I think we have to also make, I guess, the assumption that they've got an underground tunnel that they can take the boats through. I think that's probably what it is.
Got a whole
it's a wormhole.
Locking dams.
Some tiny little tunnels. Yeah, only in Westeros. Only in Westeros.
So moving past that, this has been
Hold-
Semantic Corner. Abby, what do you got?
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, hold on, wait.
Brought to you
I
by
already went over
applications.
it in length Thursday, so if you want to watch that, watch it. The castle, it's Castle Rock. Sorry, like it's perfectly Lannister castle. That is Tywin's castle. That's what he would make. That's where he would live. They're just perfect for who their
Mhm.
people are, and it's beautiful. Like it's just so pretty and strong looking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Doesn't surprise me at all. Like,
So another win for set designers on the show.
yes, I think that would be the job I'd like the best.
We'll get you a resume and we'll start
No.
putting it out there. I think you'd like that very much.
I think I would like that very much.
Okay. Any final thoughts on Dragonstone at large? All right, then let's move for the first time to a different location where we're going to go to the sea, at sea, where Theon.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
Sure, you're
I,
fine.
I do have one final thought. Davos is the best damn speaker of the realm. If you want anyone to try to get you to do anything, you send a raven to Davos. This dude got the Iron Bank to give Stannis money, damn near knowing that Stannis was going to be in debt forever, and they still did it. He got Lady Mormont and Bear Island on the side of the Starks, and she was not feeling Sansa at all. And now he's anytime he speaks with Danny, that much he's got muchness.
He's
I'll
got
say
the
that.
much.
It always comes up. The much is strong with Sir
Davos
The
is
much
okay
is
with women, hands down.
I just wish I had him to follow me around to like tell me how to say what I mean, and like a consultant. He'd be a great life consultant.
I don't even need the consultant. I just need the Davos pep talk every once in a while. Go out and fail again.
Yeah.
Can we
I just
also
want him to talk for me.
give this man who was illiterate 3 seasons ago just props on using the word enmity? I thought that was well done
Yeah.
on his behalf.
And he's so good at reading people too.
Yeah.
So great at
I mean, his superpower literally that made him the most successful and infamous smuggler of all time would literally be charisma, right? I mean, that would have to be a main trait to become who he was. I mean, there's just no way you can get around it with just being sneaky. Like, there's plenty of very sneaky and effective, smugglers, but to get to the level that he was of infamy, you literally have to be like the most charismatic motherfucker in the room, in every room. And yeah,
So what you're saying is being bad at spelling is not really that big of a deal?
Nope.
if you
I
can
love
talk
it.
your way out of it, then you're good.
it's all about the spoken word. Never mind what's written down. Who cares about books?
Who writes?
He's still intelligent, right, Peeps?
See,
Let's
I
just
always-
keep that in the chat when I'm trying to type
Reference,
to you.
It doesn't matter what you did. It's how it was written. So, but I could appreciate the spoken word.
All right, so let's get to Theon.
So Theon is rescued by a Greyjoy ship, but is called out for being yellow. That's all I had on that one. I tried to save her.
Abby, I'm gonna go to you on this one here.
We get the I couldn't save her, and they said if you tried to save her, you wouldn't be here. That's I'm glad that he kind of gets we know you didn't necessarily try, but I don't think Theon had a chance. Like even if he tried, like
you were right, and they know that.
So that's what I'm not sure if they're saying like you should have tried and sacrificed yourself, or if this was like obviously the only choice. So now you're here, so maybe we can go get her. If I don't know.
I think with him showing up and saying that, I think they very much know that he kind of chickened out. Because literally, if he saw her, his queen, what he's dubbed his queen. I mean, he has a duty, no matter what it is, to go and try to, help her escape.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's the real thing. The way that I read it, at least.
I mean, it's Theon. He didn't. He just said, "See ya." Okay, cool, bro. Thanks. I don't know.
AK, you got thoughts on Theon being pulled out of the water?
My only thought that I put on the spreadsheet was Theon. I mean, and you just got to think about the woman that Yara is. She came and stormed Winterfell to find you. You were in a fucking cage, and she was trying to pull you out of there and save your life. And even though you did all this fuck shit that you weren't supposed to do, you went against the plan. You got yourself caught. You've been tortured and all this other nonsense. And I'm here trying to get my baby brother to come back home. And it comes for time for you to try to save me, and your bitch ass turns and runs.
Yeah.
The
And
next time I see you, I'm yoking your little ass up. We're gonna come to an understanding about what family is supposed to do for each other.
yeah.
I needed you one time. One time. That's all I needed you for.
The
And
one time.
You just
And
said no.
it was so hard for me doing this workbook today to not name him Reek for this scene.
Bruh.
He was back to Reek by this point.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Johnny B Crazy. Y'all set your notifications on mine and his channel. We have a series coming out. It's called #They Deserved It. And you know who's on the top of that list? That little asshole Greyjoy Theon.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, do you have any thoughts on Theon here?
I really just want to insert the sad eyes emoji. Like, my heart goes out to Theon. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. He's a pansy, but he was made that way. I just like he was created
He
into
was
this.
born that way.
No, he wasn't born that way.
Maybe
kidding.
he's more.
Yes.
Maybe he's been.
That was
tortured
definitely nurture over
a
nature
lot.
on that one.
Right.
He was
like,
raised by the Starks.
He wasn't born like he wasn't made that way. They didn't make
He
him like
wasn't
that.
made
He
that way.
chose
I'm
to
Fucking
be
saying
that
he
way.
was made
fucking
that way by
Ramsay was that way.
Ramsay.
Oh, by Ramsay.
Ram-
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I was getting there. Like
Right, sorry.
Ramsay made him this way, and he has not had enough therapy yet to make it through that. Of course he jumped. Of course he didn't do anything because he's all about at this point, like it's fight or flight. And his initial response is flight. He's got to go. That's all he's got anymore, which is a step up from his freeze that he was doing 2 seasons ago. So
I mean, he's literally jumped off of the walls of Winterfell.
Yep.
Had a very hectic flight away that luckily Brienne and Pod came to
Right.
save the day. Literally went back to his home, which is about the most toxic environment for any kind of mental health. The Iron Islands are a very, very rough place, and he gets thrown right back into that. And yeah, I'm with you. He
I
needs,
mean,
in the words of Bridge 4, our friend Kev, he needs some healing.
Yeah.
yes.
Give
Yo,
this man
T-Baby
some
just said
healing.
it best though, man. Karma's a bitch.
So
We've
my
all
thing
made
is, if
mistakes.
Theon makes it through this, and he gets his own house, his sigil has to be a squirrel. That's
not
kind of
made
the
out of
only thing I
squirrels
can
right
go
now.
with. It has to. He's the squirrel of Westeros.
I don't like that only because I like squirrels.
Yeah,
I'm
my
Cardinals
Patronus is a
fan.
squirrel, so
Sorry,
lay the
Cubs
fuck
fan.
off.
Do to you, man. Why would you do that?
To the squirrel.
The
Why would you
Rally
do that?
squirrels for life.
Yeah, rally squirrel.
Rally squirrels.
Sorry, that can't be. I can't support that only because of rally squirrels. That's it. That's the only complaint I
Theon
have. With
kind of
that.
was a rally squirrel. He showed up to Yara, and she was like, "Come on, let's go." And she was about to become queen, and then she didn't. So
I just keep hoping Theon is like, oh man, we got him back a little bit or whatever. Like the good Theon, like he could be, and then this happens, or then something. You know, it just.
Luckily for
He
us,
just
there's a
can't
lot
die.
more show to go. So let's go ahead and roll down. We'll take a Jojen jet ski over to King's Landing, where we're gonna go open up with Euron, Yara, Ilaria, Tyene, Cersei, Jaime, Gregor, Qyburn, and the rest of the court. Benj, what happened?
Euron arrives in King's Landing to cheers from the common folk and presents the queen with a gift of her daughter's murderers. He is promised his reward once the war is won.
Abby, I want to go to you first on the audio backtrack of when Euron was going through the streets. Did you find it to be exactly the same as Cersei's Walk of Shame, or
Yeah, no, I don't think it was the same. Like, what do they keep saying in that? But
Fuck
yes, like,
off,
yeah, fuck off,
whore,
Whore!
brotherfucker,
fuck off,
the fuck off
whore!
guy.
Like it just kept repeating. No, this was a little better. Like wasn't the same, loop. So that was good. I also like the cheering in the street. I don't get it. Okay, they have these, but these people don't like Cersei. Like they don't. When did this happen? I don't understand. So okay, cool. Now we like Cersei. Everybody knows on Wednesdays we wear pink and we like Cersei. Okay. Go.
So just pulling another Harry Potter reference, it's just like the fickle student body of Hogwarts. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Harry Potter's the greatest. Oh, Harry Potter's a piece of shit. Harry Potter's cool again. But no, he's like the heir of Slytherin. But maybe he's not, and we like him again. But no, he's a douche for putting his name in the Goblet
Potter
of Fire.
stinks.
But oh, he's doing well, and I like it. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, don't just go with like they're cool right now. Like, I don't know. I think it's telling for that's how populations are at times. Like it's just
the people of King's Landing are the internet that does not do the proper research after something happens. They
Mhm.
just
They read the headlines and
oh, these people were coming to invade us. Yay, you're on.
man,
Fake news.
National Esquire
Yes,
reported
on.
this.
Who do you know who
Shit.
this man is? Who you're cheering for? He works for the queen that y'all assholes were throwing shit at like a month ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we cheering for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think the
Exactly.
crowds are like the dogs from Up.
What did poor puppy dogs do to you, Melissa? Why?
Doug.
Doug. Not Doug, because he's the only one who sees it differently. It's like the leader guy,
Alpha.
what's his name?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Alpha. Yeah. And he's got his voice changer and I can't get it back. Let me help you. We're gonna kill him. Find. I like that movie a lot, sorry.
that's the greatest Pixar movie of all time.
Debatable.
We have dissenting opinions. apparently.
Debatable.
I have my own reasons
Hey,
for it.
you know what?
Yeah.
It's not Mulan. Let's move on.
It's not Mulan. I'm out. All right, so we get some interesting conversations here with Euron again. You know, he's pretty excited about his win here, and you know, then he brings them inside, and Cersei's very happy about this gift as well. Benj, what do you got?
So I love Euron. I have to give credit to the showrunners and the actor himself. This show plays dickheads right.
What a douche.
You'd know.
You lose a dick, they bring on a new one. We lose Joffrey, and right before we lose Joffrey, we meet Ramsay. And then right before we lose Ramsay, we meet Euron. And they just continue on to make sure that you have that one absolute dickhead who you just have to hate. But at least with Euron, he's funny and he gives no fucks. And so he's like a perfect but he's also ambitious. So he's a perfect amalgamation of Ramsay and Joffrey, to where he's like, I'm going to be sick and sadistic, but I have a purpose behind this, not just randomly. But then him just fucking with Jaime. I know I said it on our original one, but we need to talk. You know, does she like it rough? Does she like it soft? Does she like a finger in the bum? No, not yet. No, we'll talk later. Just that toying with him and fucking with him so much. It's like, oh, that's so beautiful.
Fucking Pacey. Get out of here. He's a douche.
He does look like Pacey. I'll give
But
you
I
that.
like Pacey.
The conversation was funny. You know, it was definitely chuckle worthy. But Euron is still like discount guyliner, fucking Captain Hook from Once
Oh,
Upon a Time.
absolutely.
No, George was forced to put out the damn Forsaken chapter after seeing this episode. Like, no, you idiots. This is really who Euron is. So just chill on that nonsense that you see on the scene.
This compared to the books that, especially some of the preview
Yeah.
chapters from the Winds of Winter, this is certainly diet Euron.
Yes.
This is 0 calories, not even enough.
0 calories, caffeine free, you know, light on the carbon fizz, everything.
Was that like Coke Clear? Isn't that like
Yeah.
a thing? Oh.
This is water. It's not even Coke Clear. It's just
Is it like
It won't make you
carbonated
fat,
water? It's
but
just
it'll
like
kill
water
ya.
with those terrible bubbles.
God.
It's
It's
terrible.
literally just water with aspartame.
No taste and it'll kill you. All right.
So what else do they talk about in this scene? Cersei gets her prize here, and do we want to roll into the moving forward into their torture?
Well,
Yeah.
Mm.
I
One
don't know
other
if you've done
Oh,
that.
sorry, go for
That's,
it.
that's okay. I just realized that I had it. When Cersei sees Ilaria, she has a look of whoops, clean up under aisle me. Because it's like she kind of got overly excited a bit.
When
Just
she
had
spits
that
at when
kinda-
Ilaria spits at her.
Yeah, well, that just like when she first walks her up, that look, yeah, I think the one you have right there, where she's just like, oh yes, it's so been, I don't know, just She, like I said, she needed a new set of underwear after that scene.
AK,
After
did you have any other thoughts on this portion of the scene here as well?
No, I think we can move right on to the torture.
Okay, Melissa, you got something here?
Okay, so I don't care about Ilaria. I don't care about Cersei. I don't care about Euron. I don't care about whoever the daughter is. Like, I don't care. There are two people in this entire scene that I care about. One is Jaime, who very quietly like blows off Euron and is like holding his own. Like, okay, I'm gonna ignore you. Fine. But really, the important question is, what happens to Yara? I'm very concerned about her. She wanders off. She's taken away. I don't see her again. I see what happens to Ilaria and the girl that I don't care about. But where's Yara going? I'm really worried.
Yeah. Abby, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I don't think Yara was part of the present, so I'm pretty
No.
sure she's being taken for either some. I'm hoping she's being taken for the benefit of Euron specifically. And he's going to take her back and make some type of statement, warning. Here I have her. I got her, and I'm going to kill her. Watch me be, king or whatever. But I'm hoping she will be rescued before that happens.
So I
Hope
know
she's not dead yet.
when I first watched this, I'm going to try to say this somewhat cryptically so Abby doesn't get anything off of it, but I remember watching this and I had a very similar thought. I'm like, man, I sure hope Yara gets taken onto Euron's boat to fulfill some of the characters in the Euron or Damp Hair preview chapters, just to have more of the Greyjoy storyline kind of happen to really show how awful and just truly disgusting Euron is. So I'll leave that there as a speculation that I had when we originally watched this, and yeah, I'm worried about her.
Team Yara.
Team
Pretty
Yara.
much the same speculation I had with where the chapter went.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm afraid. I really am worried because Yara is like the only Iron Islander that I actually like. She's the only one worth liking.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's a
she's
badass, and the rest of them are.
She is decent.
That's badasses are awesome,
Ish.
and but she's decent. I like decent people.
I would say she's a forward thinker because like her dad, the way we saw Balon, he's still stuck in the past and what's his nuts that built Harrenhal.
Heron the red.
Yeah, Harren the black.
The black. Sorry. Yep.
He's still stuck on that nonsense, and Yara's like, okay, the mainlanders don't like us; they ignore us because of this. What can we do to change that so we can properly better ourselves and not stay stuck with this nonsense that we're in?
Mm-hmm.
AK, I do have one other Iron Islanders that's decent. Wex.
Wex.
Okay, I'll give you that. I mean, he's steaming too, but I give you that.
Okay, so let's get to the torture that we do get. Abby, I know you and I kind of touched on this a bit. So do you have any new thoughts on rewatches of
Yeah, I do. So, AK, you said you and Johnny Be Crazy have a You Deserved That show coming up. Bitch deserved every single bit of this. Mm-hmm.
Ilaria?
Nope. Like, oh yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I'm not like a Cersei lover. I kind of like
Careful, BBM is in the chat, so
right. I'm sorry, man, but I mean,
I hate Cersei 3 times. BBM.
No, I don't hate her, but she's not like one of those people I'm rooting for or like fighting for. Like I fought for Tywin. I think she's smart sometimes, stupid sometimes, but right here, I'm like, she has every right. Like you deserved every single bit of that. I have her back. You want to mess with somebody's kid and do it that way, like that child did nothing to you. She was not in this game. She has done nothing, and you murdered her. So yeah, eye for an eye. I suck it.
Agree. Like my note on this scene was, as much as I don't like Cersei, I respect the game. Ilaria fucked up. # they deserved it. Series coming soon.
Yeah.
So
she's on the list.
Yeah. Good. My notes on this: first, we didn't go through it's Cersei confronts the daughter's executioner and finds a fitting way to pay back the gift. The long kiss goodnight. First of all, they use the same, poison. It was very well
The
done.
long farewell.
The long farewell. And Cersei didn't even give a shit what the name was. She's like, yeah, whatever it's called.
Like
Yeah, I know.
that thing.
Yeah.
It's like Cersei said. Why did you do that? You did not have to do that, and she didn't.
No. And the thing is, I know she's supposed to be the big bad of the series on the human side. On the human side of it, she's the big bad, the one everybody's supposed to hate. And there's actually nothing legitimately wrong with anything she did here. The only thing I could consider somewhat is Tyene wasn't the one that poisoned,
The water
Tyene.
hole.
But
What's
that
up?
was the point.
She-
That was the point.
Well, I
It
know. No, I know. I trust me. I understand. I'm completely in Cersei's side on this. Tyene,
Like-
she was the only decent of the snakes too. The other two could, whatever.
You're
I
saying
like
that
Tyene.
she's paying for
Her mother's sins.
her, right? That's wrong.
Yeah.
It is
But-
like that in.
But Tyene's the only one of the sand snakes that I actually kind of liked. The other two could. Yeah, I'm glad they got killed off the way they did. So it was like Tyene. I was kind of hoping maybe it would survive. Again, I love her character in the book too, compared to the
We're
other.
gonna keep the candles fresh so you can
but-
watch her rot. Ooh,
It-
girl! Like
yeah,
I
that's
love.
And
Any
I will quote
we will put
fandom.
it down your throat.
I
Yeah.
know.
Think you're gonna do that? You're not getting out of this. You will watch her rot until she is bone and dust. And I can't fault Cersei for that. I really can't. There's very few times where I think Cersei did anything that was remotely good. And I feel her right here because Ilaria didn't need to be in the fight the way she did with Marcella.
Absolutely. And I will quote fandom on his behalf. This is his words. Honestly, the best scene in season 7. I'm not going to fully agree personally. It's actually in my top 5. I love this scene. It was
I
well,
prefer the
Definitely in the top
shame.
part of the season.
I prefer her torture where she walks out saying "shame." Like that to me kills me. I'm
Her
like,
umbrella.
yeah,
But that
yeah,
was sick.
Septa umbrella.
that was episode 10.
Where the hell is Septonella? Is she still just being randomly tortured? Because you know how Qyburn like
She's
to
with what's his name?
With
The
Gregor.
Mountain. Yeah.
He's got
that's ugh. I mean, she deserved it too. She's on the list too. But damn, the undead mountain is who is coming after you.
Mm-mm. Not me.
So
Even if you survive, you will never be the same.
Can I just ask like a smarmy question?
Oh yeah.
Here we go. So when Ilaria did this to Marcella didn't realize it was happening,
Mhm.
right? Which allowed time for the poison to work.
Mhm.
Why the fuck didn't the girl just wipe that shit off her lips?
She was
Because it
trained for
shouldn't
all.
have.
Well, no, she could step back and put her hands up, but
Right.
it's not.
There's still an antidote that Cersei has to take. She
Yeah,
takes it in this scene.
Okay.
Ilaria takes it in the scene after she kisses
Okay.
Marcella. So you
I
wipe
missed
it
that
off,
part.
but there still
As
is an
soon as
antidote for
it's
But
how.
like maybe you wipe it
It's
off
right.
and it doesn't, like there could be a something rather than
It's
just
like, oh, I just got
freaking-
kissed, which, yeah, just like, okay, like,
Right, like
try again, bitch. Like,
maybe it just make you sick.
acting.
Ugh,
yeah.
that's okay.
it's-
It's just one more reason why I hate the sand snakes.
Yeah,
And that-
they're so funny.
They're not smart.
And
Oh my
here's the thing:
God.
I just went through the Dorne chapters last night because I'm doing the character read through, and I did all the Dorne chapters together. Oh, it still kills me how badly they did Dorne.
You
and,
do
uh,
not
course.
go and get an actor like Dr. Bashir and you do some fuck shit with his family that you did on this show. It's
Right.
Dr. Bashir.
you killed my boyfriend in lawful combat, so I'm gonna kill his whole family to get back at you.
You were
Really?
completely justified in what happened, and I'm just gonna have this grudge against you because I don't like
Oberyn
your
was
face.
fucking murdered. He volunteered for that damn fight and he got cocky.
Yeah.
He had the shit won, just like
He
Cersei.
won.
He had the shit won. All you had to do was walk away. But nah, you gotta be extra. Oberyn, you gotta be extra. Oberyn's on the damn list too. You deserved it.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on the Sand Snakes, on more Cersei torture fun? Then let's go to Cersei, Jaime, and Tycho. Ben, what happened?
The queen and her brother bang. She gives all of Zero fucks who knows, and Tycho has some reservations about backing up the crown.
I I really am happy that they brought back Mark Gatiss again.
Yes.
I love seeing it. I'm like, that's motherfucking Mycroft.
That's what I
That's
said.
Mycroft. Take it away then.
Like, I love Mycroft. I love him. I love him in everything he does. I like the things he writes because he's a brilliant author. He like revived Doctor Who. He writes the Sherlock series. He plays.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know.
Yeah.
He writes
Yeah, no
Sherlock.
idea.
He plays
Luke
Benedict
Spencer,
Cumberbatch's big
God,
brother in the show. He writes Doctor Who. That man is fucking awesome. And I just love when he's on the show. It's like those kinds of actors that they find, like they did with the High Sparrow guy. Like that's
Richard
when I
Price.
love those little getting just brilliant actors to
Or
play
Ray,
these smaller
Ian
parts.
McShane.
Yes.
Yeah. And they do it in well-placed characters that
Yes.
actually have an impact. And this has been a recurring
Yes.
character. This is
He's
his
been on there
third or
before.
fourth episode, but it's all separated out by 3
Years.
years over 4 or 5 seasons. So it's like,
I
hey,
have no
come in
idea
for a
who
week.
we're talking about right
So
now.
we're talking about Tycho
Iron
Nestoris, who
Collector.
never is actually named
No.
in the show, but
Oh,
that's who
him.
it is. So this guy.
Okay. All right.
And I think he, in his scenes that Benji referenced earlier with Davos and Stannis, was awesome in that scene.
And
Later
even
on,
with Mace Tyrell.
yeah, every time
I
he's been
don't really remember
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
You're
Sorry.
not really supposed to. Like
Yeah.
he's not in there enough. He's
And that's my point. Like, it could easily just be a different Bravosi Iron Bank representative.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
the
you
bra.
could,
Okay. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could easily just make it somebody else. The fact that they've stuck with it
And
and
pull
made it
him
him,
back.
and he's so good. Like every time.
We're having.
I'm just
But they-
really
they
happy
did
that they did that.
Character is they almost gave him, little nodes of Davos's muchness, because a few times throughout that whole conversation he was comparing Cersei to Tywin and saying, how much they're like, your father didn't mince words either, and blah blah blah. And and he knows Cersei's gonna eat that shit up,
right.
because Cersei really thinks she's Tywin with teats, but she ain't. Everything she does backfires eventually, and I think we're gonna see that.
Yeah. And it's a pretty bold claim on her part of you will be paid in full in a fortnight. Just hang out as my guest and you'll have everything. But she really is kind of coming into her own as a ruler. She's getting the right people around her at this moment. She has Jamie for the army, Euron for the navy. Qyburn, for her guidance and fucking scientific wizardry, Dr. Mangala shit. She got him on the back end of that one. But she's playing the games like with Tycho. You're saying, yeah, I will pay you. And if she doesn't pay, then it falls through and she's fucked. She knows that, but hey, there's something in the works where she has some money coming in.
And
So-
she knows she had to rope him in as quickly as possible, because like T just said, and the comment in the chat room, she was not their first choice.
No.
They
Oh,
were
no.
already thinking about Dany, because they know what someone with dragons can do.
Yeah, but she also called it out of, but look what she did to your slavery trade. Because you're a bank. You don't give a shit who actually rules. You only care about who pays. And revolutionaries, do you think they really pay?
True enough. But I also do question that, because the Iron Bank is in Bravos, and we know how Bravos got started and why they don't like the idea of slaves. So it's interesting that they're even in that game. But I guess you're a bank, you go where the money is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Bravos side of it, where you're literally founded by former slaves that got away, and
Like slavery. So what are you doing right now?
yeah, it's not. It doesn't bother me all that much, because the Iron Bank of Bravos is kind of above like everything, and I like the idea of dirty bankers. Like it's like a thing that hasn't really been brought into the story at all, and they've woven so many different.
It does have a bit of mystique in there.
Yeah, I mean they've got to feel tough, and you can't really feel tough and be that without having some dirty sides of your dealings, right? I mean, they literally the Iron Bank, which is like the most ferocious fucking power in the world as far as we know, because they have the fucking Golden Company.
Bank.
Anybody
The
watch?
Iron Bank will always get their due.
Right. What was that,
Does-
Abby?
Does anybody watch Longmire? No, none of you would.
I haven't.
But I haven't watched it, no.
Well, it's just like I can't even tell you, because it's like the very last 2 episodes. It reminds me of a character. The bank would be Night Horse, And yeah, you shouldn't be doing dirty dealings. Doesn't go out good for you. Mm-mm. Never mind, chat. You might understand. The rest of you just move on.
It seems to always come back to you in this world of Planetos that George has given us. Anytime you do some super shady shit, you can only do that to a point, and karma's gonna get you.
Way it works.
I agree. Any final thoughts on this interaction here? Cersei basically says, "Give me a fortnight, and you'll have all of your money." So that's a pretty strong statement. Give me 14 days, and we'll pay you back for. I mean, if you remember back to all of the debt during King Robert's time,
And they owe a hell of a lot.
yeah,
Like,
it was at the time it was 6 million dragons, I believe.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And
somebody asked the question, so we should know.
And I do think it's interesting that they referenced that in this portion here, right? And I forget exactly who says it, but they were like, "Yeah, your husband, and basically his profligation is the reason for your debt in the first place." Which
It's the same thing with Stannis.
Right. I'm not going to get into it, but there's no way Robert created that much debt by himself with tourneys and parties. It's just not.
And I know exactly
That was Microfinger.
It's
playing
why was Tywin responsible for that debt?
because he bought some of the debt from King's Landing.
Okay, all right.
He paid that and took it into himself.
Yeah,
because I see it being Cersei's, but this is all like coming from
the
Tywin's debt or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'll leave that there. There's more to it than just Robert having parties, and they were very expensive.
Yeah. People in the chat know where you're going.
Yeah, they
and
should.
so one other thing that we completely glossed over was the first half of this scene.
Yeah,
which
Jamie and Cersei.
Jamie and
fine.
Cersei, she's showing signs of being excited from her cruelty. She comes in, no hesitation, just go for it. But I said this last time on a year and a half ago, and I'll say it again. Shout out to either the body double or Lena Headey, still looking fucking good. So that's all.
This whole thing was Ares and Rhaella all over again.
Yep.
This was Cersei seeing some wildfire and getting a lady boner, so she had to go bone somebody.
Aren't we supposed to protect her? Yeah, but not from him.
So, okay, I don't really have like the psychology to back me up, and I meant to look it up before here. So we have Cersei just kind of went into some type of not really battle, but she got this like torture thing going.
Cruelty.
Kind of like you start like that psychological wheel turning. She's got a success in that. She's had a little bit of a battle. She goes back and finds,
positive reinforcement for that activity.
Well, it's not even that, because she's dominant in this relationship. She's dominant here in this act of torture. But when she goes to Jamie, she is like submissive. She is pleasing him. I just think that is, it's like a release almost of like letting go of some, not dominance. It's I wish I would have looked it up. It would have sounded so much smarter.
You're doing great,
girl.
You're doing
thanks.
great.
There's some type of like psychological, like after a battle, you got to go fuck somebody or whatever because
the Brownisms.
Yeah, right. But that's
where like a fight to get you ready for the next fuck.
So she was just dominant, and now she went and like submitted to like rekindle or get things back to neutral.
I'm not sure that I would say submit, because what it brought back to me was that random scene that they totally botched at Joffrey's funeral.
Oh yeah.
Right. Now it's Jamie that was trying to say no, and Cersei was not accepting that.
Yeah, and it was it was better done this time. This is the scene that should have happened at Joffrey's funeral, and this was kind of a makeup for that. So yeah, was she submissive a bit, but it was mostly more of just okay.
It's not submissive, is what I mean. Like her
a giver. She was a giver here.
Yes.
I think that's a safe way to put it.
And that's fair. But like I think it was more of a giver, just to let's get this going, because kind of thing.
Continue. I don't know what you mean.
I'm just leaving it at that.
All right. So one thing at the very end of this portion of it, the handmaiden, whatever this aide is of Cersei's, walks up to the door, and yeah, Cersei is clearly, she left her fucks in her handbag, which is on the other side of the room. Oh, if it's even here. And yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. One, we've seen this girl a couple times now, and the haircut remains to be similar, which is a nice touch by the art department there, to have kind of solidarity between her and Cersei. Like, hey, you know, I'm drinking the juice. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm on Team Cersei here. And
Who is that?
so this is,
I feel like that girl might just be playing the part to get by, like a lot of people that are in the castle are. I think that's gonna come back to bite Cersei.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know if she's actually a fan, but she's doing what it takes to be in this position, which is probably a pretty cushy job, you know, dangers and everything. But she has been in a couple episodes, and this is basically Cersei's like right hand handmaiden.
Not just Cersei. Her name is Bernadette. I was just reading this today. It was like the Easter eggs you might have missed in this episode.
Okay.
So
she's been around for a while.
She has been around for a while. I'm going to see if I can find it really quick.
I can't say that I've actually ever recognized her.
She was in season 2. She was the first person who caught Sansa's period.
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Where Shay goes after with the knife.
She witnessed Tyrion propose in season 3.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
She witnessed Tyrion propose in season 3.
Okay.
She's the one who informed the queen about Tyrion's secret lover in season 4. And she's the one who delivered the news that Myrcella was back to King's Landing in season 6.
What a
She's like
bitch.
all over the place. So I would like to point out, this is from independent.co.uk. This is their Easter eggs you might have missed in this particular episode. Because I was looking up something completely different and she showed up. I'm like, oh, okay.
So Abby, this is the Raz of the handmaidens of King's Landing.
Yes.
Well, in fairness, I did well beyond Ra's level, because I never even.
That's what I'm saying. It fits it very well because Abby never recognized Raz, the face of all whores.
No, I know.
She never looked the same. I don't know.
And Bernadette,
her hair different.
But I was going to say,
always looks different.
This scene's telling because she has her hair chopped like Cersei's.
That's why she starts standing out more. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we good with this scene here?
Yep.
Then we're going to roll to Winterfell, where we have Sansa, Microfinger, Royce, Maester Woken, Bran, and Mira. Benj, what happened?
Sansa runs the house and puts affairs in orders when a visitor arrives at the gate. Bran and Mira have shown up, and Bran tries to explain, but ends up freaking Sansa the fuck out.
All right. Melissa, I want to get your thoughts on this scene here first.
Anybody else feel like Microfinger was mansplaining how to deal with Cersei to Sansa? Like,
yeah.
Oh, here, let me explain it for you. And she's like,
I know Cersei better than anyone here. She's like,
that, can we just like pose? If anybody wants to know what mansplaining is, right there. That's what it was. When somebody's trying to tell you what you already know because he's a dude and he thinks you as a woman doesn't know. Mansplaining. All over that. But she was such a badass boss bitch, calling him out on it and then like running the castle. So I thought that was pretty awesome. I liked her for putting him back in his place.
Yeah. Well, again, well deserved. Fuck him, piece of shit.
Yes.
Abby, do you have anything here?
The biggest thing that I have, I think it was through the chat the other night. This scene just specifically made me a little annoying. And I don't know if you guys, I think maybe you even talked on it on your original airing. So Sansa gives the grain store, like, we're going to do this with the grain stores. And if they need it, or if we don't use it, we'll give it back. If we do need it, they're all coming here anyways. Everybody benefits. It's good. I was like, that's a very practical.
Just like our show. Everyone benefits when you listen to Radio Public.
Exactly. Just like Radio Public. It's like, I'm like, well, how practical, commanding, very good, like super good point. And then I feel like the show was like, let's give her another really good point to make, to put in there that Sansa knows what she's talking about. I don't need to be proven that Sansa knows what she's talking about. Like, I'm already there. I'm already on that game. Sansa has her shit together. Do we need like leather on these? I mean, are they putting leather on these? I mean, they just like are building them right now, but leather must be put on this shit right now. Hold on, Sansa, great idea. Let me go check. Hey, you, put leather on these. Like, really? It just bothered me.
I will say, I'm with you on that one. That's the only line that bothers me of like, have you made armor? Like, there's like a whole nother station that they're getting to. This is an assembly line. Like, they haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay, here's the thing. There was no assembly line. There was literally, like, even Royce.
No assembly line needed. I'm cooking a steak at a fucking restaurant, and they're like, "Oh, it's medium rare." Oh, okay, cool. You've got that medium rare steak. We're making medium rare steaks.
You have the potatoes?
Where are the fucking mushrooms and onions? Well, it's still rare and raw. Like, I haven't cooked it yet. They got to go on top after. Well, we need to put those on right now. Okay, the boss is here and has decided this, so we will do it now. Makes no sense.
We'll do
I
it
agree
live.
with that because not only is she looking at armor makers, but she's looking at northern armor makers. I think they know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
I think Sansa was doing the thing in this scene. I get that, but that little part they didn't need to have in there.
They should have just stopped.
But I understand exactly what you're saying with it, and I do agree with you, but it makes sense on a show watcher's perspective to let you know, hey,
I'm
she's
a
not
show
just
watcher.
saying for the idiot.
And Abby, we're judging you so hard right now.
I'm not coming from that. Hey, but I'm coming from the idiot guy watching the show of, okay, so Sansa knows how to run a castle of, yeah, bring the grains in and do all this because people are going to come in. But then she also knows battle tactics. And that's the simplest way that she can say.
She's literally been saying, I don't know anything about battles. She said that to John like 5 times.
It just reminded me of the boss walking through and being like, where's this shit? And
you have to drop everything you had planned.
Right. Yeah.
And now I'm doing this week.
I like Abby's simile here best. But I want to add on top, it makes it feel worse that it's Royce that goes over and talks to them. The only non-fucking northerner here. Like, no, you're talking about northern armor. Like, you live in the Vale. Yeah, it's cold. It's mountainy. No, like, you're not the one that should be going up to talk to him. It adds to that portion. Did not need to happen. It's fine. I love Sansa. I'm one of the biggest Sansa fans there is. This is not needed.
She actually didn't come by and said they need to be doing this. She just asked, shouldn't they be putting leather under? Because she didn't know. So she just went to Royce. And so it was Royce who should have said, yeah, they probably will be doing that later on, instead of being like, oh, good idea. So that's more a fault of Royce than even Sansa calling it out. Sansa was honestly just asking a question of,
oh no, I think she knew. I think that was a boss bitch moment. Like, shouldn't they be doing this? Like,
probably. But the way she worded it was done in the question, which gives her plausible deniability of,
the way they showed it though, it looked like the armor was like just now coming.
They just cooled it. Like they just,
there was time. It needed to cool down and be set properly in the shape, and then move on to the next station.
Yeah. I know.
Just throw onions on top of a raw steak. You got to cook it first, and then you smother and cover it.
But the point is, they had to find a way for Sansa to look like she knows what the fuck she's doing, so that when Littlefinger started mansplaining to her, she could be like,
I knew that they had to have leather.
But yeah, like my biggest. We're just beating a dead horse here. My biggest problem with it is I know that she's smart and knows this stuff. I didn't need the second comment.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to just point to something that Shannon Thompson said in the chat too, which is very, very fitting here. Jan Royce is like the worst person to go talk about armor. He literally has like the oldest armor in the country.
No. I will disagree on that, because there's a reason why House Royce makes the armor that they do. One, they're not just from the Vale. They're actually Northerners. They migrated a bit to Vale. And they have runes on their bronze armor. Bronze is made with copper. Copper gets stronger the colder it gets.
Absolutely.
So, and what are their house words? We remember. They know some shit's coming at some point in time from the north. They are prepared. They have the protective runes on their bronze armor, and that's why he has that old school armor. So
I'm good with it. No, it was just funny that he's literally like wearing bronze armor, which, yeah, on the surface, like, you probably don't know much about armor if you're still just wearing this antique. It's more just funny. I agree that, yes, Everything you said, I'm with you. The Royce's first men, they know some shit, and I am all on board with that. So, any other thoughts? I like the way Sansa shuts Microfinger down. It's very effective, and we just, I think, always need more of that.
I do appreciate Microfinger's line of thought afterwards, where he's like, you don't battle in the north, you don't battle in the south, you take the battle in your mind. You fight every fight that could have happened or will happen, and know what your enemies are going to come with. It's good advice.
He should take it himself, because his time's about to fucking come. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Like, fight every bat. Come on, dude, you're going down. Just wait till Arya gets there.
Yeah.
Bye, bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
So
all
let's
right.
talk about the real important thing that happens. Bran shows back up.
Yeah.
So I do have a note on this one, and I'll get it out of the way just so you can bitch at me and everything. But Bran has
I'm
gone
ready.
full fucking Neo. He is, I am the one. It doesn't explain it, just I am the one. I am the three-eyed raven. It's like, it's hard to explain.
know Kung
I didn't
Fu.
realize becoming the three-eyed raven makes you autistic. That's kind of my only note, because this is the first really interaction we get with Bran since, he's very just cold and just, yeah, that's all I'm saying on that.
Melissa, thoughts on Bran's homecoming and conversation with Sansa?
I really just took Sansa's point of view, and it's like, that moment when you realize your little brother is creepy as fuck. She's just like, I don't know what that is. She just.
I said it was complicated.
She's like,
well, could you
"Try."
explain it?
Right, but then she's like,
okay,
I'm gonna go in.
He's like, I'll stay here.
And she's like,
yeah,
and then
you
she walks
probably
away, and
will.
her eyes are like, fuck, what the fuck? Why is nobody else here? Oh my god, what the hell? That's my brother. Like, her facial reactions were fantastic. I really appreciated her. Like, it's my brother, but like, this is my brother.
I'll stay here a while. Yeah, literally, you probably will.
Yeah, wait,
Because I'm not pushing you.
No.
Anybody saying that to me, let alone my brother saying that to me, is fucking creepy as fuck.
What is creepy?
Oh, you looked beautiful. It was beautiful that night, and you look beautiful in your wedding dress. I'm sorry that had to happen to you here at the home.
But if it was
Yeah.
anybody else, you could be like,
Bye. Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here,
Yeah.
and
I
you're gonna
think
live over
it's gonna
here,
end up
and I don't have to
being-
like be with you ever again. But you're my brother, so like I kind of have to have conversation with you and be like a person to you still.
I see that right there. I didn't think it was like that bad of a thing for him to say to her, because at some point she's gonna realize he knows all.
It's a proof of concept.
Like-
He's like, yeah, this is literally something that
Well,
only you know. Guess what?
right.
I unfortunately know this, and I'm trying to somewhat be sympathetic, but I'm incapable of that.
And just, I'm like, hey, I know what happened to you here. It was horrible.
I
if
don't
you
think
need to talk to, because I saw it. Unfortunately, I saw what happened. Be more direct, not just this creepy, whatever creepy, know it all that doesn't want to explain a damn thing.
In Bran, I trust. Abby, what were you saying?
I think that so at some point when she realizes whether he says, "Hey, I saw what happened," she's going to realize, "Hey, I saw what happened." So should we all just act like he didn't? Or do we just say it right off the bat, so this awkward meeting that he understands that he's different now and that things are weird and it's going to be hard to explain? Like, we're working through that as we're trying to work through my new brother. I think overall that Bran knowing what happened to Sansa will not give her comfort, but I don't think it's going to be this big, like, horrible thing forever. Right now it's new and kind of like
Abrupt.
Yeah. Yes. So you have to take time to let that settle in. But I mean, I don't know if it'll play much into the show or the book, but somebody knows, like really knows. So, give her something.
Yep.
I also kind of feel like Bran, sometimes everybody's like, Sansa's out there crying when he comes home, and he's kind of like, hey, I feel like that sometimes. I have a mom who would be Sansa, and I would be Bran. Sorry, Mom.
And she hugs him, and we don't hug.
And And she cries, like my mom cries, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. There's no waterworks happening here. I'm happy to be
I think
here.
I'm
I
the only
swear.
hugger in this family.
Oh yeah, you are. I am
think-
not a hugger.
I think so. That's okay.
Don't fucking touch me.
No.
Unless you're Luke.
No.
Yes.
I'm also a
My
back scratcher.
one note on
Okay,
this
you
was
can scratch my
that,
face.
that moment that Sansa asks Bran to try and explain what he's talking about, saying he's the three-eyed raven, and all he does is make her wish that he would have just shut up.
She's about as confused as the rest of us, I feel like. So there we go.
Well, she's a little less confused about what his abilities allow him to do.
Yeah.
I mean, true enough, yeah.
It's-
Now she knows. She's like, oh, that's what you mean by seeing.
Because
Because
she's like,
you know, half of that didn't happen in the Godswood, so Bran is like extra level Bran, almost Super Saiyan right now.
He's like Raisin Bran Crunch at this point.
that is a good cereal. I do.
It is a good.
I
I'm
do
telling
love
you,
that
it
cereal.
elevates it.
Ravens are interesting though. Bran is just like he. I think he's the only one that could beat Jon in the brooding match off. He's weird right now. He's just weird.
Yeah, he's even more broken at this point. He's similar to he's still adjusting. I mean, there's a lot going on. We'll get more Bran talk as we go along through the next couple episodes, I believe. So let's roll into Old Town, where we'll take a Jojen kite, you know, and we'll float on over, where we have Sam, Jorah, and Maester Ebros. Benj, what happened?
So Jorah is examined and released from the Citadel fully healed. Sam is rewarded with writing some lines.
So in our Abby's initial thoughts, you know, go home Gertie thoughts, I really liked some of the points that you made there, Ab. And do you have anything new to add there?
Oh,
Of
man. How drunk was I? I don't remember what I said.
not enough. The main thing, his punishment for this.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so Sam gets told, "What did you think you were going to get a reward? No,
Not gonna get
transcribe these
expelled."
books. You know, they're being eaten. They're disintegrating. I think that it eventually will be a reward in disguise. I think it's going to have some information in them that they need for the long night, or more illuminating how to kill White Walkers, or how it has been done in the past. How I don't know if this is the only. I don't know if this thing coming is called the Long Night because the White Walkers are coming, or if that's always what it's called when winter comes. I'm not sure. Kill me. But I think he's gonna have some research that all those things that he was looking for when they're like, he wanted to go to the library and the maester said, like, you're not a maester. That's not for you. This is gonna be all the information that he wanted.
So the
That's my thought.
punishment turns into a slight-handed reward.
Yes.
I like that thought quite a bit. And I also like how Jorah is like, you know, I just started feeling better. Maybe it's the climate.
The climate.
I don't know what. But when you guys were talking through your first take on this, I liked how you both were saying that both these characters, like, we know them well, but they've never met.
Mhm.
And in this short span, this short little interaction, like, they do a really good job of representing who each other is to each other. But we already know it was just really nice. Nice, quick. I liked your dad. He saved me. I'll save you. Friends forever. Break. Like, I like them both. Go,
Good.
Jorah.
Good thought. Melissa?
Thanks.
So, I mean, I like the scene. I like Jorah. I recently have been rewatching Downton Abbey, so he plays kind of an ass on there, and it was really hard for me just to watch this episode.
Jorah?
Just jump in, and yeah, Jorah's on there, and it's like, but he's Jorah, and he's so lovable in that poor puppy dog friend zone kind of way. And then I was watching him on Downton, and he was an ass, and so like my skew was off. But I really like that when Sam is talking to Maester Ebros, right? And Maester Ebros is like, how'd you do that? There are many maesters who have attempted this and didn't, and couldn't do it. Sam's like,
I read it in a book.
I read it and I followed the procedure. So, okay, here we go. This is teacher talk. So drink. Sam is proof that if someone just reads and follows the directions, they will most likely be successful. It implies that many of the maesters who tried it didn't bother to actually read and follow the directions. I'm just saying.
I just want to harken back to what we were talking about earlier, and me saying, if you know where to get the information, just tell me. This is my point. Just go get the information, read it, do it verbatim. Dunzo, success. So why we gotta have this search? Why we gotta have this quest for not? No, just tell me where to get it. Or if I ask, tell me if you know. It doesn't have to be a puzzle. Fuck.
Play to your strengths and get
God,
what
yeah,
you need.
Get a broom. Okay, I will. Like, all right.
Well,
On board.
and then like it comes down to like, how man of the maesters is it to not read the fucking directions? Right? It's like when you get the IKEA box and the guy just throws the stuff to the side. It's like, I can put it together. Give me the fucking directions. I'm going to follow the directions. Just me. It's fine.
This table from IKEA.
This reminds me
You're welcome.
That was a fun day.
With that old movie with Dana Carvey, The Master of Disguise.
Oh yeah.
Half the time he was going through, like, that's a crazy plan. It's so crazy, it just might work. Holy shit, all we gotta do is read the directions and actually follow them?
And our brownies will come out tasting good? Amazing.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know.
Are we talking about brownies?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Following
shit,
the
it's a
directions.
recipe. Follow procedure. Like, it'll work. Cool.
Okay, real quick.
And also, I'm gonna give a shout out to T Baby real quick. Even though he's supposedly healed, Lord Friendzone still needs to stop touching shit. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Real
I
quick,
thought it
poll of the panel: brownies or cake, Melissa?
Can't, as long as it's chocolate, it's good.
You gotta pick one. Brownies or
Cake.
Cake. Abby, brownies or cake?
Hashtag lemon cakes.
AK, brownies or cake?
Cake. Always cake. Red velvet. Cream cheese icing.
Yes.
Benj, brownies or
Spice
cake?
cake all the way.
I mean, I'll share brownies with you if I can have the corner piece.
Am I the only brownies here?
Are.
I'm okay
I'm
with that.
not a big chocolate fan. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'm not a U fan right now.
You know what?
Okay, we said cake like 5 times. Everybody take a drink.
Great.
I have a mural
one.
that I'm working on.
All
There's
right,
cake
so
here.
I do have cake.
I'm gonna take this to the sweet realm of this. That handshake between Jorah and
Yes.
Sam. Jorah hasn't touched anybody, and at least we've talked about it in our first time through. We did the math. It was like 8 to 12 months roughly.
And thought he never would touch a single person ever again.
Yeah, until his mind went gone and he just attacked random people or whatever. But
Which is good for everyone.
Yeah, he would never purposely touch somebody. So when Sam holds out his hand, barehanded, and Jorah holds it and then puts his hand on top, it was just all of the emotion, and Jorah has it back in his head like, I can touch Dany again. Yeah,
That is
I-
not what he's
I know, I'm being a smartass on that one.
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually a real thing. Lady I used to go to church with, she studied psychology and whatnot, and she noticed that when she was pregnant with her first kid, she very isolated and alone, and a friend of hers came up and they were talking, and she said her friend just patted her on the shoulder, rubbed her back, a little bit of comfort, and that is so key in human psychology.
Contact comfort.
How we
The real thing.
we have to have interactions and contact with people. If we don't, we suffer a
We
lot.
become
from
brand.
that.
It is taught
Very
in nursing school as part of healing the whole body.
Healing. It's
That-
good.
It's as physical touch, human touch is such a key in healing, physical healing. So
That's why there's so many programs with younger children or young adults going to visit nursing homes with the elderly. Sometimes those folks don't have family that comes and sees them all the time or even once a year. Human interaction helps. We some of us don't like to admit it, but we're all pack animals. We need that interaction to truly positively survive our life. And if you don't have that, you can suffer a lot internally. It's very detrimental.
I
It's
believe
Failure to thrive
like the
happens.
old psychological experiment that they did with the racist monkeys was exactly that. They would literally feed half of these small monkeys and give
Peanut
them
butter?
not let them touch nothing, no outside contact would ever happen for them, and then they would have a separate study group that would have actual contact comfort, and just the overall mental health and emotional stability of the ones that got it was, I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, this was a really old study, and I'm not doing it justice, but it's a very, very well established psychological thing as well.
Oh no, agreed. And I was just saying, since they're rhesus monkeys, they only got fed peanut butter.
I don't know if that's true. It's also
Afraid
spelled
to shake
differently.
someone's hand or to hug
Did you say
folks.
Reese's monkeys?
RHESUS.
I
I
thought
know,
you
it's
said
not gonna
racist monkeys at first,
Yeah,
and I
no,
was
it's
so
not-
confused.
it's not racist
I'm
monkeys.
like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking
Like,
about.
That's
how
why
they
I stopped
cool?
talking.
Like,
What
You
what
know what I'm
are we
talking
talking
how did
about?
No.
not
No.
shaking hands make them racist? I was so
I'll put it.
confused.
Oh, come on. This is anyway. It's a type of macaque. You want me to say macaque
Gotcha.
instead?
No.
I don't want to hear
will-
anything about your
You're
cock.
good.
The racist macaque. That's truly what it is. Anyway, so I agree that the handshake here is super touching, and I like
Literally.
it's incredibly touching. Thanks, Abby.
Six.
But
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else of note happen in this scene?
And he proclaims he's going back to see Danny. I mean,
Yeah.
not that anybody's surprised, but
Where else? Where
I mean,
else
where
did they
else
go?
was he gonna go?
Yeah.
though? He
Gotta
called
figure
that
out where
rock.
she is. I would love it if he ends up back like in Bravos or Pentos, just to be like, "Hey, is Danny still over this way?"
He
You know,
did
because
ask 2 episodes ago. He's like,
Yeah, and he
is
worked
the
with her.
queen
And-
here?
Ask that though. There's no way everyone is gossiping about that. There's no way he wouldn't have heard.
yeah. Well, he'll find out quick once he leaves the Citadel.
Exactly.
Heard it through the grapevine.
We're back to raisins again.
Oh man, raisins, racist
Damn
monkeys.
it, raisins.
We gotta move on to High Guard.
Racist peanut butter monkeys.
Shout out to my dragon brother JD has just joined the chat. Y'all please remember, join me, myself, and the dog show on JD's channel later this evening.
The North remembers, and JD is amazing. So let's go to Highgarden, where we're going to talk about Jamie, Bronn, Randall, Dickon, more racist macaque jokes, and Olenna. Benj, what happens?
With the strength of Castleby Rock and Hornhill behind them, the Lannisters overtake Highgarden without much effort. Jaime confronts the Queen of Thorns, who has one last prick to give. Tell Cersei I want her to know it was me.
One last prick to give. Benji's autobiography. So Abby, what are your thoughts on this
So-
entire scene here?
Overall, I focused on this a lot, so I won't go much into it. Overall, she dies well. Like, Olenna, if you gotta go out, do it in style. Do it with a bat. Like, she just does it. She, even in her death, did not disappoint me. Amazing. Love her. Number one. Number two, Jamie. His decency. I just finding the decency in people in this show. He's one of those people that shows it here with Olenna. I think he struggles back and forth like little angel and devil on his shoulder, like telling him what to do or what to listen to. And this is Jamie being the Jamie we like. And lastly, what was my other big point about this? Oh, up until this episode, I've always thought that this like war that Cersei's fighting was so one-sided and ridiculous. Like, okay, at some point, like they're gonna be blasted out, but the tactics and what the Lannisters were able to do here, the intelligence, like I feel like we just leveled the playing field, at least for the Battle of Westeros. Like they are an actual threat. That's exciting.
Yeah, and I think that's been a bit of the theme that has occurred over these first 3 episodes, right? I know you and I kind of chatted about that of like, hey, you look at the finale of season 6, Dany's on her ships over here. She's got the Unsullied. She's got the Dothraki. We know now she's got the Reach and Dorne, and it's just like, wow. Plus dragons on top of that. I mean, that's a much better hand to be dealt
And-
than even Aegon the Conqueror had at 300 years ago.
Yeah. You have
And
Cersei's just standing on her map. That's like, oh, enemies here, enemies there,
and
and I
even
mean,
Jaime's
the
like-
map is dangerous.
and
They're
even Jaime's
everywhere.
like, it's 3 kingdoms at best. That's tenuous. Like I don't feel good about it. And now you look at it, and it's about as even. Like it seems like the scales have tipped pretty hard.
Dany definitely has dragons. I think that's always like, you have dragons. That's
She has them, but
nice.
she's not willing to use them.
Yeah,
Did
she
y'all
will
watch
use them.
Prince of Bel-Air?
Sorry.
Y'all watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, you remember that episode where Will tried to make Jeffrey this badass poet that was coming to guest speak at their school? When Cersei was looking at that map, the first thing I thought was cannons to the right of them.
Yes.
Like, and there's a meme that was out a while ago where Dany's looking at the painted table at Dragonstone, and she's talking all these battle plans, and then underneath that is Cersei looking at a huge ass floor with that same map of Westeros. It's like, yeah, bitch, that table's cute and all, but look at this.
Look at my that floor is amazing. I
like the table better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's an awesome
you would.
table. It's an awesome
It
table.
is an awesome table. I
Yeah, the
just
table's
think
cool.
that like even more than like Dany still has like maybe a slight upper hand. Her weaponry is a little more advanced. I underestimated the Lannisters and what Jaime and Cersei were capable of. I knew Cersei was capable of torture and vengeance and being hateful and almost like desperate at times, like where she's just, but right here this was smart and intelligent, and that makes me realize that they do need to be a more respected competitor. Like
Yeah.
they are a threat.
Tyrion underestimated them.
Yes.
That was Tyrion's cockiness, thinking he was smarter than his brother and sister. And granted, normally he is, but he made a seriously big oopsie here in this episode, and they paid for it.
I didn't expect it out of them. He didn't expect it out of them, obviously, but it really made me be like, oh shit, okay, well we could go Lannister. Like that's a possibility instead of being like at some point they're going away. It's a real possibility.
A cornered animal will always fight harder than any other creature, and Cersei pretty much was backed into a corner. So again, I don't like the bitch, but you gotta respect the game.
Yeah. So my first note on this scene was this shot right here. There, I'm glad you're on it, Luke. Is Olenna sees this force coming at Highgarden. She knows her defenses are not up to par. She even says it later in the episode, saying, we golden roses. What can we say? It's why at this point would you not just say, you know what? Go ahead, bow down, open the gates, let it go. And I get it, it's pride. You want to maybe hope you might have a shot, but save your men. Let them make the choice to either, bend the knee to them or whatever, but give them the chance to not get slaughtered. It's just one thing I noticed on today. Like I never thought about it before until literally today as I was watching. I was like, thinking about it, you see that force coming at you and you know the outcome that's going to happen. You know what? Maybe give your guys a fighting chance of life and just
Do
say.
you think though, because they're an open rebellion, don't you think they would just kill them all?
She's an open rebellion. The men are just men. If they say, okay, but if they, they stand up and fight, then they get killed.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then that'd be their choice. But it's, hey, lay down your arms, open the gates, and maybe they might her people might actually
survive.
live. Yeah. So it was just a thought I had watching it kind of today. But later on, once we get to the meeting between Jaime and Olenna, you get he's like, and she goes, oh, you weren't supposed to be here. You were supposed to be a casualty. He's like, yeah, I went where you they didn't think I was going to be. I learned that from Rob Stark at the Whispering Words. You know, my father always told me there's always lessons and failures, and she has that one great quip back. You must be a genius by now.
You must be very wise by now.
Yeah, but yeah, you must be very wise by now, but you must be a genius, you know. And it was great interaction. And then one shout out to that was Joffrey's sword. What did he call it? Widow's Wail. He really was a cunt, wasn't he? You know, just has to every line is a stab somewhere, which
It's
Lady
prick of the thorn.
Lady Olenna is the Queen of Thorns for a reason.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
my one note on this whole scene was, "Tell your bitch ass sister it was me, bitch. I'm out." When the scene happened, she said, "Will it hurt?" And he was like, "No, I made sure of that." Okay, good. She downed that shit, no hesitation. But before I go, one more thing. Yeah, that's for y'all anime fans. Y'all will get that. One more thing. Tell that bitch it was me. I want her to know. And the look on Jamie's face after she explained it all was like, holy fuck.
Right there.
Had she not said anything, they never would have known. And that is just the sweetest revenge. r/pro revenge. Go check that shit out on Reddit and you'll see why I said that.
Yeah, and there's actually a great new YouTube channel. I just found it. It's only like a week old. It's called r/, and like he has pro revenge and a bunch of other stuff that he does all that.
If you like him, check out Sorrow TV also. Sorrow TV is phenomenal.
But because here's the thing, remember this about Jaime though. Tyrion said, "Yes, I killed your fucking bastard son. I killed your fucking piece of shit king or whatever." And so Jaime at that point was like, "What the fuck?" You know, and so he thought Tyrion was being truthful. And so for him to find out about Elena, that's like a double fill of shit. Tyrion really didn't have anything to do with it.
I doubted my brother and I was wrong. Oh my god. Yeah. And Tyrion and Jaime's relationship has always been solid. Tyrion's greatest protector growing up was always Jaime.
And actually, I take that back. That is a book. That is a book.
I was gonna say I don't think.
Yeah, that's not a show. Book wise, I'm sorry.
They didn't show. Yeah, you're right. They didn't show that enough in the show.
Yeah,
well,
so I apologize.
Tyrion doesn't say that I killed him in the show.
Book wise, he does say it. Show wise, he doesn't. So sorry, Ab. You'll get there.
My bad. I apologize.
I think we probably talked about that a little bit on our main episode of it anyway. But yeah, it is slightly different. But I think it's still interesting that whatever doubt there was, because Jaime didn't know it, he probably still did believe that Tyrion had a hand in it at least, or who knows? I mean, I just like the fallout idea of, well, okay, this changes things a bit. I have to go tell Cersei this? Like, that's gonna be an awkward conversation. I think it goes down as one of the best character deaths that I've ever seen.
Oh, this is my note.
Agreed.
Melissa.
This scene has been nominated for most gentlemanly murder.
I'm gonna kill you, literally with kindness.
I mean, you could not have been asked to be killed
and you're gonna
in
respect
a better,
me
more respectful, more kind, and like, I'm like, it was just so nice. It was so nice. I mean, probably the murder of all of her people wasn't, but her particular murder, it was just done so kindly.
You know what? And cheers to that.
Yeah, it absolutely was. But I still say that Lady Olenna's badass outro trumps all of that. It was me. It was me.
And it kind of reminded me of, and I had submitted this for a title for the episode itself. And to my wrestling fans, you'll get this. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. Ah, son of a bitch. And
I know what you
I know it's you, Brando. But anybody gets that reference, love you.
I still don't get it. But
And
cool.
most people won't. Like I said, wrestling fans will. That's all.
Well, if you have to murder me out there, please just take it out of Jamie's playbook and follow this scene.
You know what? If I'm literally just gonna die by a glass of wine, there are worse ways. Oberyn.
Please make it Duplin, Black River Red.
That looked like a pretty good cut of Dorothy bread that he gave her. So I'm not mad at it.
Hey, Abby, I have this
Hey.
entire bottle of Dublin Black River Red for you. Would you like to chug it all real quick and then tell me something?
Yeah, sure. What would you like to know?
All right, so let's go ahead and that's going to wrap up the main episode. Let's talk about the episode title, Accuracy, the Queen's Justice. Melissa, what are your thoughts on the Queen's Justice?
Well, Cersei Queen gets some justice.
Mhm.
Danny Queen, not so much. So if we're just naming it off of what Cersei gets done, she gets some shit done. She gets her prizes. She gets to kill daughters. She gets to screw over Tyrion a bit with Casterly Rock. She gets one up on the Tyrells. Like, I don't know, it's a pretty successful Cersei episode.
AK, what are your thoughts on the title?
Cersei's game in this whole episode is what I was just talking about. R/pro revenge. She did the shit. I mean, like I said, I don't like her. I'm not a Cersei fan at all. But don't hate the player, hate the game, and I respect her game and what she did.
Game
She
is
handled that
strong.
shit.
It's very Ollivander.
Yep.
Terrible,
but great.
But
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Abby, thoughts on the title?
So I have to make a kind of confession, I think.
A dashboard
we-
confessional?
True
Yes,
confession.
kind of. Yeah. So Gertie confesses here on our thing on Thursday.
Hashtag
I'd
go
say-
home, Gertie confesses.
Yeah, obviously I missed something. I said I don't really get this title. I don't like what the fuck. And because when I read it, and I didn't think beyond it, I'm like, oh, the Queen's Justice. I'm like, what the fuck does Danny get
think
justice
Dan-
for?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so it's just really telling to me that I don't even consider Cersei the queen. Like, just personally, to me, Danny is a queen or the queen or whatever. I don't even know if she's the queen of Westeros or the realms yet, but in my mind, it made no reference at all to Cersei, except that when I was talking about all my thoughts on this episode was all about how awesome Cersei and the Lannisters were. And I
Just a
still, like,
total
literally,
whiff.
like, I still did not realize. So yeah, my bad. Now I've changed my stance. Title, good,
It's
not
a thumbs
bad.
up
Stupid.
finally. A go home thumbs
Yeah.
up.
This whole
Benj-
thing
go for
was what the hell was his name? Damn it, I just forgot. Harry's uncle when
Dursley.
Vernon.
when he blew up on Aunt Marge
yeah.
and they got that letter from
Oh,
Hogwarts.
Vernon. Yeah, Vernon.
Oh, yeah, Uncle Vernon. The look on his face was just like justice.
Yes.
That is
I know that face.
Cersei
Yeah.
what this
Yeah.
episode made me think of.
Benj, I think you're gonna pull the same reference that I'm hoping is that you're going to. So what do you think of this episode title?
Oh crap! Now you make me.
Put you on the spot. Get it right.
It
get the-
work.
get the
I
answer
actually didn't think about it much. I mean, it works. It's one I didn't overthink it and didn't try to come up with something funny for this. It's the Queen's Justice. It works in terms of Cersei. She is the legitimized queen of the Seven Kingdoms at this moment. So yeah, she gets the justice. Thing about Danny, she doesn't get any justice, but there's no injustices. So I don't know. Go ahead, Luke. What?
Benj,
Did
you're letting
you-
me down. Queen of Thorns justice. I mean, come on. This is her getting it back on Cersei. Literally the last laugh. I
Yeah,
completely
I
agree
get
with
you.
all of the pro Cersei, but there is no doubt in my mind that it also
It would-
applies to
to
Lady Olenna.
Olenna. Yeah.
To the Queen of Thorns, absolutely.
yeah. So that's
No, that's fair.
I thought for sure you're gonna pull that because we talked about that in our first
Right.
time around. So
In fairness, I was busy on Thursday night, so I didn't actually get to rewatch her.
yeah, you were busy.
I
was
love
busy. So
I love Olenna, and I am really enjoying what's happening with Cersei right now. I just total fail on my part. I just wanted some like type of what's like a fuck. I can't think of the word. Anyways, my train of thought's gone
Vindication.
because I'm a bottle in. So
You're,
let's
and,
wrap
and
up
you're
this
also
fucking
knitting,
show.
which the chat is
I'm
loving.
not knitting. I am making yarn balls. Okay.
Whatever you're doing, they like your craftiness.
All right, so
So-
description and accuracy.
Yes.
We got Danny holds court, Cersei returns gift, Jamie learned from his mistakes. No, yes, and yes. Because Danny doesn't really hold court. She just accepts a new visitor. Holding court is when you have everybody there, and it's yeah, that one I disagree with, but everything else, sure.
She
Semantically,
literally holds court.
semantically, I disagree with it. You're not holding court. You're holding court is having multiple people there, not just you're greeting a
Her court was there.
envoy.
Her court is all of
Oh.
her and all of her counselors. That is holding court.
Did you know that? I'm sure you do. The audience chamber is what they call that room.
Mhm.
That Danny, we were trying to think of it last time, or I was asking like the throne room or whatever on the like people who David or somebody afterwards was talking on the show, and he's like in the audience chamber, and I was like, oh, what an
Like the Queen's
appropriate
sink.
name. Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One actual final semantic point on that. Whenever they went through Danny's titles, they said Queen of the Andals and the First Men.
Rightful queen.
No mention of the Roinar.
Roinar, yeah.
I'll just
Never mentions the damn Ronar anymore. What the fuck?
It's David and Dan wiping out Dorne altogether.
Yeah.
It's just get rid
I
of
meant
Dorne.
to bring it up earlier. I
It's so
forgot.
annoying.
I wanted to make a point of it.
So
So
annoying.
yeah, the description, it's what it is. So least favorite thing, Ben. I'll start with you.
All right. So least favorite thing, Rain Man Bran. It's time for Wapner. Yep, you looked beautiful last night. Yep. It just, I can't. I don't like the way because Bran was the sweet kid. He was the emotional heart of the Starks as a child and everything, and now he has no tact, no sound. He is, and it's I don't like it. Don't like the way they're portraying him.
Okay, Abby, least favorite thing.
I'm gonna go with no Arya. I really wonder what she's up to.
Where are
Ready
you
for
at,
her.
my Arya? Where are
Come on,
you?
Arya. Yep.
Melissa, least favorite thing.
Anytime Jamie and Cersei are together, I don't care that it's 7 seasons in. I don't care that it's been there since episode 1 or 2 or whatever. I don't like them as a thing. They bother me mostly because I really like Jamie. I know, I get it. There are people who don't like Jamie. Please don't yell at me, chat. But I like Jamie, especially book Jamie, and I don't like Cersei. Never have. Not my cup of tea kind of girl. So them together doesn't work for me, regardless of the brother sister thing. Like they're just not a couple I can get behind.
Mhm.
So anytime I see them, it always bothers me.
AK,
Jamie.
what was your least favorite thing?
I'm along the lines with Melissa. Is Jamie seeing the poison of Cersei, but taking that big swallow
Mhm.
anyways? Don't drink the fucking Kool-Aid, Jamie. Like you know, and he even agreed with Lady Olenna. Like, yeah, she might be the end of me, but you know, he pulled the fucking cue from Jorah. Yet here I stand.
Go to rehab.
For what? Right, exactly. Like what are you still here for? You see the bullshit that she is. Why would you still, follow along with this nonsense?
That's why toxic relationships work.
I'm going to triple down on the Jamie not getting the fuck out. He's had good reasons to walk away and hasn't done it. I want him to just make the right choice because he is a good person somehow. Like, we've seen him make his mistakes, and he was originally a pretty terrible, awful, no good, bad person.
He's Gollum.
And I feel like he's gone through and
So fucked up.
He's more Mary.
No, he's that idea of having the difference between Gollum and Smeagol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
What did Mary do to you though? Why would you compare him?
I don't know. Mary just seemed like a dick when you first met him, and then you
No!
realized he's a
Mary's
good
the
person.
best.
No, Mary's the best.
Or am I thinking Pippin? One of them was a dick.
No, they're both
Never.
amazing.
Neither of them. Stop that right now, young
Yeah.
man.
I don't know
nothing
shit
about
about the
Lord of the
Hobbit.
Rings.
I know nothing
John
about.
Ben Snow.
I know nothing about Lord of the Rings. So
Right,
I'm just
right on
kinda-
top
Yeah,
of
be
that,
quiet
one of the
then.
Be
top
a
2
smart.
characters left
You
out of the
sit down.
movies.
Have all of the seats right now, Ben. All of them.
The
Be a smart man.
two most important characters that are left out of the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films: Tom Bombadil
Yep.
and
Tom
Fatty
Bombadil.
Bulger.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, poor Fatty Bulger.
Poor Fatty Bulger left out. Anyway, so that was my least favorite thing as well. Favorite thing, I'm gonna go through the same route there. Benj.
Okay. So I had to figure out a way to pay it back. That long farewell, just Cersei giving her comeuppances to Ilaria. Fuck Ilaria in the show. Ilaria in the books is awesome. Sand snakes in the books are fucking cool as shit in the show. Pretty much dumb, but the way Cersei pulled this off, beautifully. So, favorite thing.
All right, Abby, favorite thing?
I'm gonna go with the castles.
Yeah,
I
the visuals.
I like them. I just think they do them well. Um, I don't really know about the CGI or whatever. I'm just talking specifically for the family or the type of trade they're in or the power that they use. It suits them. They do a very good job of just making it. Well, of course, that's what they'd live in.
Mhm.
That's how it would look. Of course, it is.
It fits the region.
like
It fits the family.
Yeah, it's just well done.
Yep. Melissa, favorite thing?
Davos. This is Jon Snow.
He's king of the north.
Yeah, like
Nice
He's a
pause.
bastard.
he's the king of the
should-
north.
I should add more.
I wasn't given a script.
I guess this is a thing I do now.
this is my responsibility. We didn't talk about this. We didn't rehearse this.
This was not in the job description. Is this under my other duties as assigned? Like, is that under my?
Do you want to
Like
know who
extra
would
column?
literally be, aside from Missandei, who does wonderful?
Oh,
she
yeah.
does
Fantastic.
she
Yes.
Mace Tyrell would be amazing at that job. Can we agree with that?
I'm sorry, which job?
Some
At the
boistering.
announcing of all of John's titles, like if
Oh,
basically
yes.
being
You would
the
get-
hype man.
This is Jon Snow, former Lord of the Night's Watch. He led the attack on Hard Home, and he survived.
He would do it in feathers. I
Yes.
mean, what could be better?
If you're gonna do it in feathers. That's just my motto in life, I think.
Ooh, I love
I'm gonna
it,
start
like-
living by that. AK, what was your favorite thing this episode?
Tell Cersei was me. I want her to know. Lady Olenna went out like a fucking boss. And yes, this was one of the kindest deaths in the series, and we do not get like any of those. But this was also the most bossest boss of ending lines that anyone can give. And then she just sat and stared at him like, what? You got something else to say? No? Okay, it's like she pulled that shit she did in Dorne. Yeah, you don't got nothing to say. Okay, no, shut the fuck up. And what could Jamie say? He just walked the fuck out the door. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I'm again gonna completely agree with you. That is, it's incredible the way they do that scene. But I will give an honorable mention to something that might not be as popular, just by the conversations we've had, is the Jon and Dany interactions. I thought they were very natural. I thought they made a lot of sense as to where both of them were coming from. Kind of throughout, they're in the audience chamber conversation, and how that doesn't go very well, which it shouldn't, because things are fucking difficult at times. Like, it's hard for us to watch it knowing who these characters are and their merit-based reasons for being there, but they don't fucking care. They don't know that about each other. And I like that in their one-on-one conversation, they actually get a little bit of a productive relationship started, and that's how politics is really done. And I just appreciate the way that they went ahead and did that. So let's go ahead and go through our house stuffs. Glenn, what's your house name?
I'm not being
You have Glenn's
Glenn of House-
microphone.
I have to do
Dog.
Glenn.
Well, his
Okay.
house words are
I got it.
birthday.
Okay, so I am Glenn of House Dog.
House words.
You missed 99% of the shots you don't take.
House sigil.
Spuds McKenzie on a Wayne Gretzky with a Wayne Gretzky jersey number 9.
Where can
99.
people find you on Twitter?
At Popsicle Stand.
What was your final thought? Oh,
It
It
was
was
all
just
the-
one of your. Hold on, I know this. This is just one of your run of the mill, like, third episodes of a 7-season kind of thing.
Okay,
See, I listen to
you
the show
nailed
a
it.
lot.
All right, Melissa.
Yeah, oh,
house,
me, okay.
house name.
I am Melissa of House Algorithm.
House words.
Have fun, storm in the castle.
House sigil.
A golden Fibonacci square on a field of light gray.
And your sword.
My sword. I don't have a sword. I battle with my wits.
House region.
I am from Old Town.
House religion.
The Faceless Men.
Horse name.
Pythagoras.
Animal.
Oscar the Obscurial.
You have an obscurial.
I do.
Damn.
Oh God. Ancestral home.
Bag End.
Hometown newspaper.
I don't have one because I have panic attacks when I think of writing. I'm a math teacher, not a writer, damn it.
Famous house ancestor.
Pascal.
House minstrel or fool.
I don't have time for that shit.
Hell.
House Bannerman.
House Weasley.
Personal Twitter.
At mcrowley522.
Final thought.
R.I.P. Lady Olenna.
Abby. House name.
Let's go all.
Go all. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Abby. House name.
I am Gertie of House Condescension.
Words.
We don't quit.
Sidge.
White, a field of white with a raven sitting atop a black up-pointed chevron. I didn't paint it on there
Sword.
yet. That would be Gunther.
Region.
We live north of the wall.
Religion.
We pray to the old gods.
Horse name.
Odin.
Animal.
JJ the honey badger.
Ancestral
JJ short
home. Oh,
for
sorry,
JJ short for Judge Judy. And cause she don't give no shits.
There it is. Ancestral home.
That'd be Gertie's Gallows.
Hometown newspaper.
The Nightly Raven.
House ancestor.
Casey Jones.
House minstrel or fool.
We don't have one. We don't joke around. We kick ass.
House Bannerman.
That would be House Wahlberg of Wahlburgers.
Personal Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at Go Home Gertie.
Final thought.
I think this is my favorite episode.
All right, Luke. I'm gonna go with yours. Luke, what's your house? What's your
Don't
name?
take the hosting duties from me. We're not there yet.
You're doing every week. What's your house name?
Luke on of House Blackmead. Crybaby.
What are your words?
Ours is the drink.
Your sigil.
Obsidian
Get you,
black
boys.
chalice on a gold and blue checky background.
Your house sword.
Sweet sting, a Valyrian steel axe.
Your region.
Stormlands.
Your religion.
Old gods.
Horse name.
Cherry.
Animal.
Perish the parrot.
Ancestral home.
Black cask keep.
Hometown newspaper.
Oh, it's the drowned word.
Famous house ancestor.
Ashmere Rivers. You'll learn more about him later.
House minstrel or fool.
Oh, it's Dingle, of course.
The Bannerman.
House Karen of Night Song.
Your personal Twitter.
Oh, at Luca Ferocious, I guess. I don't really check it that often.
Yeah, usually at No One Drink is probably better.
Yeah.
And your final thought.
I really like this episode. There were a lot of really strong character interactions that happened, even the brand stuff, even though I know people don't like it.
Sure.
AK, what is your house name?
You're muted.
House
Muted.
Mute.
Commander AK of House Quill.
And your house words.
Recording the past to force the future.
Ooh, I like that. House Sigil.
2 quill-tipped axes crossed over an open ledger on a field of red.
God damn, that is really good. I like that a lot. House Sword.
Twin katanas ink and blot.
House Region.
The North.
House Religion.
The Old Gods.
Horse name.
Artax.
Animal.
Kino the Direwolf.
Ancestral home.
Tirazleen.
Hometown newspaper.
The Half Moon Howler.
Famous house ancestor.
Ben Razel.
House minstrel or fool.
Donkey!
Don't get it.
Here, donkey. House Bannerman.
House Half-Blood of Camp Half-Blood.
Assuming that's Percy
She's my
Jackson, right?
favorite.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank God. Oh, that's good. Personal Twitter.
At AK_DS09.
Final
Hashtag
thought.
Awesome.
Final thought.
Final thought, if you are gonna go out like the Queen of Thorns. No fucks given.
Completely agreed. Benj. House name.
Ben, aka Slav House McLean.
House words.
It's dangerous to drink alone. Take this.
Sigil.
3 golden triangles on a field of red and black.
House sword.
Konami, because they make blades of steel.
House region.
The Reach.
House religion.
We pray to the gods of tits and wine.
Horse name.
Peach. We ride her all night long.
Animal.
Ares the Phoenix.
Ancestral home.
Tower of Hera. Watch out for Mordorn.
Hometown newspaper.
The Daily Sun.
Famous house ancestor.
My great uncle John, the savior of winter celebrations.
House minstrel or fool.
Niggledum, the singing mime.
House Bannerman.
The Postiers, the ones you want to ride with. I knew I'd get Melissa on that one, on Niggledum.
Personal Twitter.
Slime McClane.
And your final thought on this episode?
If you don't want to go out like a bitch, don't fuck with Cersei. She owned it this episode.
So become a patron to get access to all of the extra episodes that we have for you, including access to our Slack channels and all sorts of fun, what do we call them? State of the Legion addresses. We do once a season, I believe. We have one coming up at the beginning of spring.
End of March?
Yeah,
End of March.
middle of March.
There you go.
Yep. Learn more about all of that at patreon.com/stayimaginary. For all of the ways you can help keep our beer bank full, check out the podcast at .com/support us. Alicia Kingston, thank you so much for being here. You just muted yourself.
I did. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast. I hope we can do this again sometime, and I heart you guys.
You have been one of our biggest cheerleaders, and we truly appreciate everything that you've done for us and with us. And friendships are meant to last. So, tell people one more time where people can find you and what you have coming up here shortly.
If you want to follow me on the YouTubes, you absolutely can. I do always say you can find me on other folks' channels quicker than you'll find me on my own. But go ahead and sub. You know, I do got a few things coming up. It's far away, but Halloween is a coming, just like winter. So I'm trying to do some good stuff coming up with that. You can always catch me with my ladies, the Mad Queens, Monero Geek TV, and Timo Lisi, who I think will be coming back pretty soon, and T-Baby also. You can catch me always in the chats with drinking those things and with everyone else. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Thank you for coming to join us. I think we're probably going to be getting back to Lav's book club at some point. Sub Loving Shadows, so you can get those notifications. Let's see, American Gods is coming up, so I'll probably be doing some vids on that. Later on tonight, I will be on with the Dog Show on JD's channel, talking about some of our favorite authors. So come and hang with us. I think that's pretty much it so far. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you want to get into the comics, and you maybe want some cooler things than just reading some ink on a page, check out the Walking Bread channel. As of issue 52, I have been voicing Michonne. And, the boys, Josh and Alex, that run that channel are doing some great things. We've got all of the comics up from issue 1 to issue 118 posted right now with some great voice actors along with me. So go check them out. Tell them I sent you. Tell them that you want us to continue, because we've been on hiatus for like 7 months. So we need to get back going with that. And, just look out for the new season of shows that's coming up. We got Stranger Things that's coming up, American Gods, Neil Gaiman, and Terry Pratchett, I think. Got Good Omens. If you've read that book, you know how awesome it is. They're doing a TV show coming up soon. So me and Lav, and I'm pretty sure Fandom D Saint will be joining us and having some discussions on that. So, sub to everyone, because this is a great community, and I met all these people through the Game of Thrones community. So, sub to all of us. And the comment just asked about Deadly Class. Yes, when that season is over, you will catch me talking about Deadly Class, because that show is awesome. Also, check out the Umbrella Academy on Netflix if you want something new to watch.
If you want to get to know AK, show up in almost any Game of Thrones live chat.
Yeah.
She will be there.
I didn't want to interrupt.
The hardest to be there.
I didn't want to interrupt, but you totally would be Michonne. It's so perfect. That's all I wanted to say.
I try to do well. Like I've studied, how Denai Guerrera plays her and how she, shows her emotion through her voice. So I do try to get it done. And people say they like it, but I'm always my biggest critic. So
no, just you personally. You're so fierce. You don't have to try. You're perfect for her.
Appreciate that.
So barring any scheduling mishaps, join us next week as we discuss the Spoils of War, Season 7, Episode 4, with special guests. Westeros Wheneverly podcast. Tana and Dave will be with us. That's That's a podcast companion of ours that's been in the making since we started. They're a drinking Game of Thrones podcast. It's just it's too fitting. So follow us on Twitter at @KnowAndDrink. Send us a digital raven at knowandDrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. But don't forget to hit that notification bell. And until next time.
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter has come, and so did I.
As always, never stop reading.
As always, thanks.
What is this, Harry Potter? And as always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
All right, I have to run. I'm going to leave
Yep.
the chat up while we're talking about this because I'm going to Glenn's birthday party.
Happy birthday, Glenn.
That's why he's at here.
Yeah.
He's at his birthday party
I'm
right now.
kind of half tempted, Luke, to tell you to come pick me up, and I'll go with you. But
If you want.
As always,
mean-
lemons.
As always, lemon cakes. The lemons that were promised.
lemons,
The
Oh.
lemon
always
cakes that were
lemons,
promised.
yes. But thank you again, AK. This was so much fun. I wish we could hang out more, but I know you're doing the JD stream, and I'll be checking in on that as much as
There's
I
a
can.
balloon.
I put the balloon has.
We have a count.
Bubba,
You know what?
Bubba,
This
do we
whole
have a
time-
balloon count? Because
This
Bubba
whole
almost.
time I've been seeing that damn balloon. All I've been thinking about is it
Yeah.
and how I don't like red balloons. And like Melissa, I have many years of my life been always dodging freaking storm drains.
Mhm.
Specifically
Years.
because I don't want to see fucking Pennywise come
No.
at me. It's
I-
just no.
Oh, it's been a running thing every time like my camera's up, like I'm going and like Bubba, it's like balloon, balloon, balloon,
Oh, yeah.
balloon. And it's funny. To me, it's
I-
hilarious. That's baby Ramsey's balloon. We got him for Valentine's Day. He loves it. Hey, that's fine.
I just read it for the first time. Like
You want me to take
with
my earphone out
the-
so you can.
these
talk about it
guys.
without
No,
me?
no, no, no. It has nothing to do with that. It's just what I said the other night. And I was walking into the hospital with my kids, and my kids were running ahead of me, and they're like, "It's okay if we run ahead of mom," and it's like on a sidewalk, and my daughter turns around creepily to my sons and says, "As long as we stay away from the storm drains, that's where kids get taken." And I said,
Watch out, Georgie.
and I was
Ooh,
just
hi,
like,
Georgie.
Oh, and she's the
Oh.
perfect age.
I have goosebumps on my
Like,
skin
I
now.
literally, and my husband, he was in the hospital, and I was just like, something's wrong. Like somebody is dead. Like something horrible has happened.
Yo,
This is horrible. And I'm like, what has she seen? Who says these things? I was so
funny
affected.
story. Funny story. One of my friends on Facebook was in the bathroom with her daughter one time, and she said her daughter like looked over the sink drain and was like, "Hey, Georgie," and she turned around
Oh.
like, "What the fuck?" And she looked down the drain, but it was like a little toy of Peppa Pig's little brother. It was all
Fucking Mama Pig.
great. And she was like, I
See?
felt 1,000 miles of relief after
Yes.
I saw that.
See, my last year when I was teaching 5th grade, when the first movie came out, they all had gone and seen it. I'm like, you're 11.
Mm-mm.
How? Who? Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm even reading, like, I'm even doing a show, but like, don't talk to me. I don't want to hear about it. We do not discuss Pennywise in this classroom. Like, you
Mm-mm.
can't with me because that's too much. Mm-mm.
No.
And speaking of which, also Melissa, I was chatting with Ben a while ago, and I told him that even though I've been following you guys and listening to your interpretations of the book, I've never read the book. I've only
Really?
ever seen the movies. So if you ever want to do a segment from just a movie watcher point of view, I'm down.
Well, the plan is to do the movies after we finish the book. All of them. We're
Oh,
going to do the
oh,
mini
yeah.
series. We're going to do like both versions because by the time we finish the book, it's timed out to finish just about 3 weeks after the second movie comes out. So
Nice.
that's the plan.
Nice.
We'll
On
let
the
you
list,
know.
'cause on the stars, I'm definitely there.
Yeah, you got it.
I tried to watch whatever movie isn't like as old as the miniseries. I'm not sure which one it was.
The one
I
that just
did
came
not
out
watch-
like 2017.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I started it and I was like, it's too late and I'm too alone.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel. And nobody at my, like, I can't have my
Exactly.
kids watch
I don't
it.
want to watch that alone.
Like, I don't want to have my kids watch it because like I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to be that mom. But then, like, my husband won't. He's like, "Why? I don't like that. I'm not gonna bother watching." I'm like, "But I need somebody to watch it with
No,
me."
I think I was maybe 8 or 9 when I saw
The
the miniseries
miniseries?
for the first time, and it never really creeped me out until I started like looking at the writer that Stephen King
Oh yeah.
was and how other people have interpreted it, and I was
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, that's probably why I subconsciously don't like clowns and have never liked clowns because I saw that shit.
I don't mind the clowns. It's the storm drains. Like it's weird. I don't
Hmm.
know.
I don't
I
know.
don't like birds.
It check out the podcast that floats down here. AK could probably
Yes,
give us
please do.
the best
She has-
promo that we could ever imagine. But like I am the first time I'm the Abby. I'm the go home Lukey on that show.
Yeah, he knows nothing.
And I don't. And I'm just the book is so good. Like I've never seen the movie or the miniseries. And
miniseries,
the
yeah.
book is so good.
I thought it was gonna be some like slasher
Yeah.
horror film.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting, and then he
Oh,
did
no.
something.
Mm-mm.
But like
The
the
people they got to do this last version, and it was great. And the child actors usually
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
that great,
Mhm.
but they basically got the guy that cast Stranger Things to come
Yeah.
and cast
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
These
Well,
kids
and then
are
they cast
living in a
it.
bottle.
Yeah, they're
And
very
so
good.
this movie is phenomenal. I cannot wait for September because yes, we'll be done with or
wake me up.
we'll be caught up in
We'll be just
with the book.
finishing.
Just finishing right in
Mhm.
time for the second movie to
Yeah.
premiere, and I'm going
I'm so looking
whole
forward to
hog on
That's
Yeah,
second
like
movie.
those kids have
I just
set
noticed
up
like 3 hours.
the next generation of actors
do.
to come in for part 2 so
Yes.
well.
And the
So
next
well.
actors are
Can I
so
just double
fucking
check
good.
that? That doesn't
Yeah,
look
they
Like,
have a really good cast.
oh
Do
my
you
god, Jessica
remember?
Chastain, Bill,
McAvoy.
what's that?
They got James McAvoy.
They got James
Jesus,
McAvoy, Bill.
perfect for that part.
Hang on.
Anyway, all right, let's say goodbye to the chat. Thank
Yep,
you all
I have to go
for
bye.
being here. This
Yeah,
has been
thank you,
incredibly
guys.
fun, and you guys are just so attractive. We're just happy that you guys
Taco
are, and for those of you that are unattractive, we're glad you're here too. We're not here to judge. We're not.
Hey, well, thank you, Luke. I appreciate you accepting me on that.
We're not lookists. We don't care. Anyway, thank you so much for
Good
joining
try.
us, and
Check
we
out
will
JD's chat.
definitely go to JD's channel, which I know Ben has dropped the link in a few times. I think that's starting at 11 o'clock Central Time. Does that
Eastern.
sound right?
I don't know.
Oh,
11
Central Time
Eastern.
In about an hour.
in
In
about
an
an
hour
hour.
then.
So go
Okay.
get a
So, yeah.
refresher on your drinks, your lemon and vodka, and head on
lemon
over
cakes.
there.
Grab your
And
Joe Gin train.
grab
Go
your
on over.
your
Joe.
Joe. Next stop, Winterfell.